Here we are, everyone, and we are in a best-of-7 decider between two players you might not have predicted in the bracket when you saw it originally. In the upper area of the bracket, you might have predicted Winchester would be here fighting to get into the LAN. But Winchester got killed off by FreakinAndy yesterday in a 3-2 banger. Andy's had an incredible run. Andy, I think, beat Dogao and then Winchester in the same day. Two great players. And now Andy more than deserves to be here to potentially face up against Dark. And then Dark, I forget the first player he beat, forgive me, but he beat Doubt 3-2 to get here. And so Dark finds himself with an opportunity to make it to the LAN as well. I think Andy's got to be considered the favorite here. I think the styles, Dark could maybe be preferred. But I think a lot of people prefer styles against Andy because Andy tends to open so defensively. But the thing is, Andy is so adaptive, and I saw him go into some scenarios yesterday where a lot of players should die, and he came out on top anyways. So I think Andy, if he can stick to that, would be my favorite. I'm going to say something like 4-2. I was Dark's teammate in the 2v2 event. I have spoken to Dark, maybe a little bit more communication towards him. But I really like both players. And Dark, you can tell, just ready to go here. Scouts passing each other. He noticed immediately. Nice couple of hits there. And he's gone for his #1 pick, by the way. He has gone for the Woo here. And Andy has gone for the Italians. I think Italians is overall, long-term, a better civ. But the Woo are amazing for the start. And Doc's already up here for Dark. And I would expect Man-at-Arms and maybe even a forward from him to get over to Andy's island and be aggressive. So I think Andy should expect that. Andy should expect that from the Woo. And this is the #1 pick from Dark. So if Andy defends from this, wins this game, it's already a really nice start for him. But the Woo, they're regenerating Man-at-Arms. Woo getting food when they build a barracks. Woo getting food when they build a dock. It's just kind of perfect for a map like this. And Dark already on the prowl there with the scout. And Dark just has not found the dock yet. Where's this transport at, actually? I think he's going to use this. I think these two vills are going to go into this transport. Because normally the transport would be scouting for the dock. Yeah, he is going to use this. And Andy might even be looking for the vills, hoping to intercept them right now. But that's not going to happen because these two villagers have been thrown into the transport ship. Would be interesting if Andy's transport ship spots this, but this is for a forward barracks. That's the plan here for Dark. And double lumber camp for him. Probably will get some villagers to gold. He's got really no food being taken underneath the TC. It's just 3 fishing ships. This build is extremely tight. And maybe too much so. The villagers might not get here at the time that he wants. It honestly might not even be Man-at-Arms at this point. Obviously, there is the water in the middle, which players can focus on eventually. Yeah, there's just a defensive barracks from Dark, so Dark's not going for Man-at-Arms. And Andy is prepping a barracks, and Andy's looking around right now. So there was the first qualifier. This is now the second, and there's been quite a few games where players try and go forward. Where are the villagers? Oh, they're here. Sorry. I thought they were hidden behind this rock for a second. I was like, what? Okay, the villagers are here. Dark still doesn't know where the dock is. And Dark is going to open with the stable on the front. The HP on Dark Scout is higher than Andy's. And, well, that's not the case anymore. They're both the same amount of hits from going down. And Andy also goes for a stable. Behind this, Dark is adding some fish on the outside. We also have the fish added for Andy. And Andy's going double dock. And he's going double dock and adding fish. This is really smart because he recognizes that Dark will not be able to combine water pressure with land pressure and that Dark stock is on this side. Fishing on this map is key. And already Andy is a nice little worker collected lead. He didn't have those 2 villagers transported across the map, of course. He's had a few more fishing ships working, so all that stuff makes sense for the efficiency. And he just seems to know. He just seems to know. If you're up against the Woo, they're gonna go forward. Long term, there could be some issues for him. Like, taking the golds could be a problem. No, he's got this gold. But, yeah, still, long term, this could be a problem. These box turtles are actually really helpful for adapting your food eco. So this mill, for example, for Dark's really nice. Andy still has that one. But Dark sees the walls. Dark will also see the stable, so he knows Andy's kind of matching him. That's not what he would have wanted. And scouts are going to run through here game number 1. And they're going to get by. There is a spearman there. And that is Andy's warning that he needs to fully wall this in front and not allow any more units through. And so Dark is already going to switch into archers behind this, but he might not be able to group up his scouts with this. He also has added a dock here. In theory, could be adding more fish this whole time. But there's a lot to manage with the micro and with the scouts right now. Yeah, and as you can see, like, now the archers don't have scouts to protect. You always need new scouts to protect. Dark is being aggressive here. But Andy is weathering the storm. Can Dark manage adding the fish here at the same time? I think that's kind of the key here. And will Andy be able to manage adding fish at the same time and then eventually kill some stuff over on the water? Like, can he get a fire galley over here, for example? It's a long journey, but that could eventually pay off. I love Andy's approach to try and hold from this here. Like, this is the last set in the second qualifier. He's clearly watched games. He has a feel for what's possible, and he also had an expectation of what Dark might bring. Look at this wall. Like, this wall is absolutely incredible. I've seen this happen before, and then players aren't prepared. They get smashed, and then they die. But no, this is super nice. Dark's still knocking on the door over here with more scouts, and I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon. I think he won't be stopping because he knows that if he just holds this position, Andy's going to have a really tough time with these golds later on, and Andy's getting bloodlines now. So Andy produced a lot of scouts, and he'll have that HP. Dark scout's still moving around. There's a fire galley now for Andy. However, there's also a fire galley for Dark, so it's almost like he expects this timing. These guys are playing really sharp right now. And he does get housed pretty badly. He was going to get housed. He then lost his house. So the pressure's kind of getting to him a little bit here. And now Bloodlines is in, but he really will want a blacksmith upgrade. But that's a good fight. That's a free scout kill. 3 kills for Andy here. And Dark dropping a market at home. Thinking about balancing his res. He's getting forging now as well. So he's fletching and he has forging. But is there enough army here to deal with this? He wants to transport around right now, but I think Andy's about to take an engagement. And Andy will take an engagement here. I mean, there's no armor. And some of those scouts are weak. So actually, with Dark's micro, maybe this is manageable for Dark. But that's just good enough for Andy. That's all you want. You just want that time to breathe. Now the archers need to get away. Dark's micro is still really solid. He actually just got a forging upgrade too, so he gets a bit more damage out. Certainly could have been worse for him. But certainly could have been way better for him as well. And now, normal FreakinAndy play is like you take a good fight, you defend, then you rush your way to Castle Age to get the boom going. He's going to try that, but he still doesn't have quite enough to clear this. What a game. Also, Scout here from Andy is attacking. That's a 1 HP Scout. Killing villagers because Dark is so distracted. I think Dark is maybe looking here. Dark is certainly always microing here. And so the Scout is still feasting. Dark needs to notice this. This is crazy damage with 1 Scout. And Andy's going to kill 3 villagers here. And Andy, I'm assuming, recognizes this. Dark now notices it. Not the end of the world. When there's this many fishing ships, you can lose a couple of vills and it's fine. But it just seems close. But it seems like Andy's got that ever slight lead. So let's see how Andy plays early Castle Age now. I think Dark can get a decent amount of archers here. But it'll be double stable from Andy. And he can comfortably just play into light cav maybe. It's still only 1 range for the archers. It's not 2. Dark defends on water. The Dark's fish in the middle are kind of key for him more than anything now. I actually think the Wu player shouldn't go Xian Swordsman here. I think they should just go for some Heiguang Cav. Like, I think just making a couple of those is good with your archers. John Swordsman, your barracks is back at home, which is far, like, way too far away. I just like Cabin Archer. Maybe John Swordsman later on. Andy only has 11 on food. That's the fishing ships. Dark has more than that, but the shorefish won't last forever. And neither will the berries here. Andy had a lot on this mill, and now that's all gone. Dark really wants through. His transport, I think, went down. So he doesn't have it anymore. It must have been sitting over here, and Andy spotted it. Andy's still saving all of his stone as well to drop town centers. So if he takes a good fight, he can just walk out here and build the TC. But the reason I like Italians more than Wu here is just because the game typically goes late, and Italians have one of the best late games with water. But I don't think Andy can fight this right away. And Dark should probably skip upgrading these archers. Would be nice if Andy sees this, if he could sneak a villager out here to dock the middle to kill these fish. But it's such a crazy thought. But really, just deleting that palisade, running out, sneaking a dock would be so good. The fire galleys from Andy looping around. He didn't patrol, so Dark gets the first hits there. Dark now sees that palisade and wants to engage. There's the first cav for him. Knights have more HP, though. And typical Andy. He's like, okay, I've got just enough to attack this. Maybe just enough to defend. He might not actually have enough to kill this. But he certainly has enough to defend. Pulls the weak knight away. Dark's archers are all firing on that knight. That might actually be saved here. That would be a crazy save. If he saves that to heal it, he's going to be loving life here. That gate closes. So the knight gets saved. Oh, this is so good for Andy. Just so, so good. Another weak knight he's hoping to save. That one he won't. But now this is turning into a little bit of a boom war. There also were the scouts over here. These scouts ended up killing 3 more villagers. And so that's a lot of counterattack damage from Andy. And I think he also is pretty much going to put an end to the fishing out here. But Andy still does not know the docks are there. That's part of what makes this strategy strong, is you get the docks up. And Andy was not expecting monks, and he reacts a little late, and the conversion happens for Dark. I think Andy's counterattacks have been really key here. Dark looks at something else for a second, and now there's a monk there from Andy, and it does not get a conversion. That's really nice for Dark. Now Andy has to chase. Now Andy will bring another monk. Where's the villagers right now for Dark? I guess they're on the shorefish. And Dark has to delete those. But, you know, 1 or 2 units just into Dark's eco has a really big effect right now. So I'd like to see Andy continue to do that. It's obviously difficult to get over there. Really close game economically. Really close game with military. And Dark does have, except for occasional counterattacks, he's pretty much got his own base locked down and 2 TCs. There's no pressure here. I think Andy will try and get the occasional counterattack in. I think Knights, maybe the unit you prefer in the long term, but the Haiguang's got a lot more attack. It's got that +1 attack. Also, the attack upgrades have both been researched for Dark, so he will break through houses very quickly. And Andy's just going to town center it. Like, Andy is just so unique, dude. He's literally town centering Knights. And now he brings his knights out. He does lose 1. Dark ends up killing some monks. But deletes that, which is the right play. Now he's trying to break through. And he's a little distracted. The Haiguang comes out. These could be conversions. That's going to be at least 1 dead monk. What? No, it's not. And Dark is a little mad about that one. He's coming over to kill the monks. Killing the monks can be really nice, though. So if you kill the monks, you might even be able to win the fight. And he sees the monks. He'll see the other monk. He should kill that. And then he might be able to win this fight. He should have his own monks around. He does have 1 monk here. Andy can't actually take any stone with this little walled off region. So all of his stones are protected. by Dark's buildings. It's actually just this stone. Is that normal? I thought there was more than one. No, apparently that's normal. Dark hanging in. Could easily lose his fish over here. We now have a transport from Dark, probably for just extra fishing efficiency. And Andy is trying to sneak. Will Dark notice this? This is a game changer. Guys, if Dark patrolled there, his fish would be safe. But he's just looking around in so many different areas, and he misses this sneak from Andy. This is so good. This is so good. Because from Dark's perspective, the fishing eco is completely safe here. Maybe he just looks. I don't know if he saw that. I think he just literally clicked his units here, and it pathed a bit differently. Yeah, that's really good for Andy. But now there's siege pressure coming. Now there's going to be siege pressure. There's also forward dock from Dark. There's also a dock over here from Dark. So Dark is not completely forgotten about water. It's actually a dock from Andy, sorry. But the point is there's going to be Navy out, and there's going to be siege. And now Andy can't take gold. So how can you win a game without stone and without gold? Things get kind of complicated. At the same time, how can you win a game without food? It's not like this is 3 fishing ships. There's 12 fishing ships out here to kill. Obviously, Lightcap feels like an obvious move right now for Andy. If you only have food and there's monks out there, he really should be considering that. Man, this is such a big play for Andy. Without this, I think Dark has a pretty significant lead. But with this, now Dark has problems. Dark does not have a lot of farms, guys. He was not factoring in adding farms. And now he will be distracted as well. He has to add fires to stabilize this quickly. And so maybe Andy can get a couple more conversions with those monks he loves. Redemption's on the way. Crazy because he doesn't have a lot of gold. But he does have redemption on the way. And now the Cav is diving for Dark. Maybe realizing the situation at hand here. And he killed the monks. He's going to kill that monk. He might kill the next one. He's still pushing down that TC. Killing the monks is pretty massive here. Now there's only going to be one monk for Andy to convert the siege. Not multiple. Dark might be able to save some of his fish. I wanted to see if Andy transported to a gold. Not really sure where he's taking gold right now. It says he has 11 on gold. Oh, I'm sorry. T90 blind. There's still some gold back there. But it's still not a lot. He still can't take stone. He's still under a lot of pressure. And if he moves out, if Dark is expecting this, Dark can get conversions, but Dark is distracted, recovering on water, guys. I think he's on the left. I think he's in the middle. And now Andy dives for the monks. Dark gets completely surprised there. Actually takes a really good fight, though. He can actually just dive the TCs now. It's still a really good fight. If he gets the conversions there, it's way better. But maybe he just goes for it now. He's getting +2 armor. There's a lot of eco exposed in the back here for Andy. If Dark continues through, he could kill countless villagers. He could still continue to produce units because he still has the gold. He doesn't really have the food. It's unfortunate for Dark, but he's literally just gone the wrong way. If he just went back here, look at all the vills that are exposed. But he's still going to win the fight, and he still has opportunities to keep moving around. And Andy just doesn't have the gold to be losing monks like this. He'll get conversions, but the units are still around, and the units are still coming, and this is looking so good for Dark now. It was such a confident approach. You know Andy's going to play defensive, but Dark has to bring the aggression anyways. And Dark is just like, go ahead. Run around in circles here. Wait for those monks to hop out. I'm ready for you. It feels like Andy has nothing on land right now to deal with this. Yeah, that monk there, that monk will die immediately. And now these panic TCs and monasteries in the back are just signs that FreakinAndy has kind of run out of ideas. That is not a TC you ever want to place. He's getting massacred right now. And Dark with the momentum right now. Amazing start. And Andy just trying to hold on, but he just really can't seem to get enough of anything here. He cannot kill the cav right now. He's just trying to convert it, which he has to. But oh man, there's fire ships back here. Fire ships are helping with the situation on water. Dark is actually holding the gate open right now with that cav because he's just that insane. He's getting Devotion now, so the continuous monks from Andy won't be all that strong. And now he's got Siege coming in. Really just needs to push Andy off that gold more. But Andy, I mean, could maybe stabilize this. He's obviously had a lot of idle time, but he will actually get up to 6 monks, which could convert the 7 cav. I don't know where that Mangonel is going. I think the Mangonel is actually... Mangonel killed the monk. Okay, I think the Mangonel was clicked onto the gold villagers, and then the gold villagers got pulled. Crazy game, guys. Crazy, 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 crazy game. Dark has since added food eco, and he's really producing a lot more fires now. So his fires will be hunting for Andy's fish. He's 1 patrol away from finding those. He is also 1 bad engagement away from losing all his cav, and then Andy counterattacking with him. So I actually think these need to be deletes right now. And maybe losing the siege there gives Andy the opportunity to drop a castle. Guys, this is Italians with multiple TCs with a castle against cav. It's not just any cav, it's low HP cav. Andy has held this. Like, Genoese crossbow and monk is actually sick here. Imagine, though, if Dark would have spotted the sneak dock. He'd have a much bigger eco lead. He'd probably be on the way to the Imperial Age now. Andy now going for Atonement as well, so he can convert the monks from Dark. Dark might need to delete his cav here. Okay, he had Devotion, which saves those units. I'm not sure why that... Huh? Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That is, yeah, just a little sloppy because he got distracted. Fire ship's hunting for the fish. He's probably like, how have I not killed this guy's fish yet? This makes no sense. He's going to kill the fish. And Dark is going in with his cav again. He lost a lot of his cav, but now the monks converted other monks and converted the cav, and he just wants to snipe those monks. And, okay, he'll get the kills on them. So, I think that's worth it. And Dark's on the way to Imp. Dark has just not cared about monks this game. He's just like, I will kill every single one. I don't care if you get conversions. And against Andy, it's not a bad plan, I guess. This castle, though, this is a castle he wants so he can make it to Imp and Treb push this. But does he remember that Wu do not get Trebs and they need traction Trebs? There's only 3 civs that get traction Trebs instead of Trebs. Don't actually think this castle is needed right now. And it's a 2-villager castle, and now he's going to place it over here instead. Which is smart, obviously. That's going to get denied. I think just going water now and Imp is good, but I don't know how good Wu's navy is. It looks like their navy is pretty solid, though. They get everything you'd want except for shipwright. We've got to pause. This is 100% Dark checking the tech tree. 100%. This is as clear a tech tree pause I have ever seen in my entire career. He is on the way to Imp. He is going to check and see, how good is my navy? Do I get shipwright? Blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Yep. He was just checking. He found out, oh, I don't have shipwright, but everything else is good. Perfect. Yep. And actually, Andy should know. Andy should actually recognize, I know it sounds ridiculous, that Dark is up to Imp. Because he paused. So, Dark might want to delete these stables right now. These monks are going crazy. Dark probably can't believe just how many monks Andy's been able to get. I can barely believe it. And now we got barracks for Dark. Okay, Jean Swordsman should be very good here. But he's not going to have that immediate Imp power spike with it, right? He doesn't have the barracks completed yet. So we'll find out. I still think he placed this castle with the intention of making Trebs. This civ cannot make trebuchets from their castle. They can make traction Trebs from their siege workshops. So things to keep in mind. There's very specific things about the Wu. Andy, though, has no water control. Like, none. He has 2 docks. He's got a couple remaining ships. He's going to lose his docks. So he has to commit everything to defending on land. And his plan is to go monks. Which, you know, I guess isn't completely horrible. Because it's Andy. And he's going to wall. Let's see. Galleon's on the way. Fast Fire's on the way. And then we also have These upgrades from Dark, and Dark sees the wall, and Dark is going to place his own gate to actually block the wall here. And now you can delete the gate and run in, and now Andy goes for the quick walls to stop this anyways. He does actually get a couple quick walls down. There's stone walls on the other side, but it's going to be hard for Dark to click it. Andy actually defends nicely. A transport's going to be needed. A castle now from Dark as well on this wall. He wants to be through right now. He wants these Jan swordsmen to be killing. But is he actually able to make it through here? Guys, that could be the difference between Andy holding or not. That gives him an extra 60 seconds to make it to Imp. And the monks from the other side, the siege from the other side, the Genoese from the other side could be a factor here. Fires on the outside will roast some vills. Castle is denied. Andy actually deleted part of his wall to run through with some units here. Like, the Jan swordsmen need to hop into the transport ship to get around here. You got to be careful, though, too. You don't want your transport ship to get converted. Because then your units are stuck inside there. Your units are stuck inside there. Okay, he's out. He's made it over. And now the monks could be engaged upon. But there's some Haiguang that were converted from before. There's a lot of Genoese with good upgrades. Dark is, like, trying to force the issue here. And it's just not working. Traction Trebs, though, is a good call. And he maybe just needs to chill a little bit. Transport a bit further around, perhaps. And he's also building up buildings on this side. I think Dark can lose this game easily, though. Like, the score is really imbalanced. Or just... This score is just not making sense to me. Like, I guess it's because he has all these upgrades and all these military, but he can't actually use it, right? And now that Andy's getting docks down in the middle, with shipwright as well, so long-term he can have lots of navy, this becomes a big problem. Dark has, like, literally just ran into a wall here and has not been able to do anything with his units. He needs to get into the transport, do a big loop, and then get into the back of the eco. If he does a big loop, that'll do damage. Without a big loop, I'm not so sure. Dark needs to recognize these docks are up for Andy. I would argue that the middle is way more valuable than the outside on this map when it comes to water control. But here comes Dark. Loading up the Jan swordsman. Kind of risky to go through the middle right now. That's 20 units in there. And Dark also transporting around the left side. Definitely wants to drop a castle, but Andy's just turtling up. Guys, I think Andy wins this game. Maybe I'm speaking way too soon. I think Andy wins this game. That is 20 units. That is 20 units. That is 20 units, and they are dead. They are dead. Andy blocked the transport ship and roasted it with the other one. That is 20 units drowned. Jan swordsman now attacking on the hill. There are monks getting sniped. In theory, Andy could run out of gold or whatever, but I mean, he still has so much gold available on the top of this hill. He's still building castles everywhere. Like, castle defense is fine against all of this. Like, Dark is trying to finish this guy off, like, with land, and Andy is just turtling so hard. But that's... I think that's what the map kind of presents opportunities for you to do. Dark will try and build another barracks there. We'll see. Like, if Dark was fully transporting to all the stones and golds on the outside, then yes, he's benefiting from having the water. But that's really hard to do. It's hard to focus on that. It's hard to even see things like that are there. There are quite a few traction traps for Dark now. They can be converted by monks as well. And more Jan swordsmen. Andy just spamming more monks. Andy's actually out of gold right now. He's out of gold. He has 0 gold being mined. So maybe Dark has waited long enough. Hey, Dark, just make light cav, man. I know it feels rough against the Genoese, but just raiding with units that don't cost gold would be so nice for him. Minder, he has no middle water control right now. But Andy doesn't really either, because Andy doesn't have a big navy. How many monks do we think Andy has made here this game? He's about to drop his 4th castle, which is just crazy. Making a couple condos to clear this up. Now, there should be some Lu Xuans on the way here for the Wu. Also, I don't know if Dark knows this, but Red Cliff... oh, sorry, wrong one. Sitting Tiger gives your Traction Trebs and LingYuan Trebuchet weapons additional projectiles. Should definitely be getting that tech. I don't think he knows about it. But with that technology, you can use the LingYuans on water to take down this castle. It's basically their version of a cannon galleon. And then the Traction Trebs benefit a little bit more on land as well. And Dark will win a small engagement there on water. Maybe be able to snipe a cannon galleon, which Andy can't afford to make many more of. Andy was still focused on the defense here. How much gold does Dark have available right now? It can't be that much either, right? Okay, he's just brought the Vils over to take that. If you could find one more gold there, it could be nice. Campy, campy, campy map, guys. Every game, when the levels are close, have gone late on this map. Not every game, but most of them tend to. There's 26k gold left, but it's all in these tiny little areas. Dark has shown some patience over the last few moments. Oh, Dark's also taking the oysters here. Forgot that's gold. Yeah, so that's actually... having these areas on the sides is very nice. Still building the occasional barracks in the back to spam John Swordsman and just raid Andy here. Andy's going to switch to gunpowder now, and maybe with gunpowder he actually has the answer to the John Swordsman, and he will start a push. Still don't think he can push that easily if there's traction trebs, though. But he isn't giving up on water. In the middle and on the outside. I think Dark could benefit from his own stone walls here, so no units can ever come through. Like your own stone wall. It's easy to forget that, though. When your opponent's the one who's walled, you just think they're never going to run out. Until they do, and then things get bad. Gate is starting to go down. Dark has produced galleons that are now stuck behind his docks. Thank you, Age of Empires. But he's really ramping up the water production now. And... again, he has way more access to gold. And with the water production in the middle, and then his cannon galleon style unit, could be strong. Monk for Andy was clicked onto a traction treb, gets sniped by the galleon. Andy doesn't have a single relic either. But why do I think this is still winnable? I think that just shows the belief I have in Andy. Not saying I don't believe in Dark. I mean, he's my freaking teammate in the 2v2 event, but I think there's going to be a lot of situations today where Andy can hold on, but I'm just not seeing enough anywhere now for me to think that he can do this. Dark is playing extremely patient. Like he's gotten to more Navy numbers here in this area. On this side as well, maybe some unnecessary losses, but he's got that locked down. He hasn't been continuously making John Swordsman now and sending them to their death. He's actually going for a Hussar tech switch, which is perfect. He's got lots on food. He's got the stables back here. Yeah, and if Andy loses the middle water, Andy will lose access to wood even. Andy always having to react to another raid. Dark has killed 88 eco this game. The ratios seem right. Because you can actually make too much Navy on this map. And then you get raided on land. But if you have the protection over here, if you have some protection over here, you should be fine. Andy's so freaking annoying, though. Like, Dark just took down this wall, and Andy just replaced it real quick. So now the Hussars can't come in. And, okay, there's the LingYuans. Let's go. Let's go. That's what we wanted to see. Transport ships from Dark so he can get the Hussars through. He might actually just get through this wall soon. First Hussars are sighted here as well. Andy, what's your plan, my friend? His plan is to try and recover on water. It might be too little too late. And Dark might be taking the first game here. Yeah, he should be, I think, at this point. Andy was just defense the whole game. And it was initially very good to defend, but he missed out on the timings of his gameplay because of all the map control that Dark had. Like, Dark's imp time was incredible because of his map control. transports from Andy. Ooh, sneaky. That's a lot of stone and gold. More walls from him as well to keep the Hussars out. Over here, though, still trying to mass a navy somewhere. That's gotten found. Still being patient, still waiting for more upgrades because he wants to go cav as well. Yeah, Dark just can't focus. It's so hard to lock down everything. He is on his own stone and gold over here, though. But now look at the amount of villagers he's killing in the middle. Okay, Jean Swordsmen are ready and willing to protect the traction trebs. So that was nice. That was really nice, actually. Just had enough Jean Swordsmen there. Unfortunately, he's still going to lose some traction trebs. But he had the proper amount of army and the right type of army to protect from that. Yeah, now he sees that the threat from Andy on water is actually relatively serious. But where's Lu at? Okay, there's Lu. We need Lu to Schwan into the middle right now. We need... Okay, there's Lu Schwans in queue there. Fortunately, Dark is fully popped, so he won't actually get production until he loses units there. But he needs to be pressuring these castles. There's a risk here for Dark that he's making too much navy. It's so hard to get the ratios right. I feel like this map should be played on 250 pop. Obviously, you want it to be consistent from game to game, so that's not a real suggestion, but... Just feel like players just get capped out so easily here. Res collected, Andy's actually ahead, so just pointing that out in case that wasn't clear. Andy's ahead, and he also got shipwright. He also has more on food right now. So, I mean, there are positives for Andy. It's not like this is horrible. And this is what we talked about earlier. I literally mentioned it. That needed to be walled. Like, you don't think about it, though, right? Your opponent's turtling for this long. You just completely forget that they can counterattack you. And that could be a real issue here. Villagers could die. And even just the focus could be taken away from what you want to look at. Now, Jean Swordsmen are here with some Hussars. Andy needs to protect these trebs. And so Dark will be happy about this. Dark takes down one of the trebuchets. But Dark will not be happy about this. And did he even notice it? Feels to me like he notices it. His stables are sending Hussars back here. But there's more light cav coming, guys. And this is starting to turn. Now at the same time, you have Lu Schwans in the middle to take down the keeps and the castles. But look at the amount of exposed eco. Oh, it's such a classic mistake from Dark. When you're up against a defensive player that needs to be walled. On this side, Andy is winning on water. Andy's taking the better engagement here as well. And Dark has got to be thinking, you're kidding me, right? Like, you're kidding me. Like, I've had control this whole game. Lu Schwan's now going for the keeps. They're actually getting sniped by the hand cannons just because Dark is distracted. But still no docks there for Andy, and Dark did bring his navy over here. So that will help with those Hussars running through. As long as Dark clears this, he can then fix this problem and drop a castle here or drop some walls. But guys, look at Andy. He's dropped keeps on all these islands. He's got navy around there. He really understands the importance of these islands. He's got so many islands locked down. There's even another island there. And Dark never had a castle. Dark never had this island fully protected. Dark is actually not mining gold now. And he'll lose more vills. Might win this fight on water. I think Andy has just played amazing in defense. But at the same time, only 89 eco for him, only 66 army. Dark did have a lot of units in queue. And when he lost his vills, it was replaced with army. And Andy will lose more villagers here, more Hussars. And he should start to lose these castles too. On this side, fight's looking pretty close. Pretty close to something Dark will take. Did end up getting back to the stone. I'm not sure if he found any of these other stones and golds out here. Would need to really look around. Castle's starting to go down there for Andy, but he has more stone. Imagine having to play potentially 6 more games after this. Guys, look at Andy's sneak. Really look around for those islands and those stones and golds. That's crazy hard to do, man. But how is Andy going to be able to defend his front of his base with that castle and those keeps gone? That's going to be so difficult. And now the Hussars can just run through. I know he still has castles behind this, but Hussars will still kill a lot of eco here. They both have pretty fragile economies at the moment. And Andy, I don't think, realizes that the Navy is attacking him. Yeah, now he does. But the Navy's been ready from Dark. Dark is now dropping towers. He also is queuing up heavy demos in those docks. And here are the Hussars to raid. Andy losing more vills. And Dark has 50 more Hussars in queue. Just unfortunate the Hussars can't help you on water, right? Andy's winning this fight on water. Dark pulling back the LingYuan, though. Nice micro. Does he complete a single tower here? He does not. He does not. I mean, getting the villagers there is going to be a giant pain. Big demos. And still patrolling around in the middle. So just looking, does Dark see this? Okay, so Dark can see the stone. He also can see there's towers here from Andy. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I look at how this map is set up. Andy's got defensive castles. Andy's got more stones and golds coming in. Andy's even gotten a relic. I think that Andy will win this game. He's just got better defensive play. He's got the better water civ with this situation with Shipwright. It's going to take forever, but I think maybe eventually Dark just runs out of res. Let's see. And he does have more economy. He actually just queued up a bunch of fishing ships somewhere, too. Which is not the time of the game that you would expect that, but he's taking the oysters with the fishing ships. So he's getting gold income from the fish right now. Right over here, Andy is winning, but the demos are coming in. The demos are coming in. The demos are coming in Dark! With some huge shots! That's exactly what he needed there. The Hussars are everywhere. Castles have 35 kills. Andy lost more villagers. Dark, bro, wall this. Dark, wall this with a gate. And this is not a possibility again. This needs to be walled. You've had the warning now. You understand the situation there. He's also taking some gold with oysters. How much gold is left? 16k. Whew. Damn, what a close game. Just hurts Dark so much that he lost every villager here. If he had these 2 guard towers completed and just 1 villager on that stone, that'd be something. Andy's towers are paying off here. And it catches Navy, right? Like, towers shred Navy if you get all the upgrades. So that was another smart thing from Andy. Where is Andy going to take wood? Like, pretty soon he's going to have to transport for wood. Most of the lumberjacks I'm seeing are on the front here. Dark will click his Hussars in after that random treb. And they might be able to take that treb. But there's Genoese crossbowmen and condos around. And the Genoese as well, just shredding cav at this point. So you don't need many of them. Good ratios there for Andy. Big naval battle. Dark actually has more HP here, which is actually really hard for me to tell. Is that right? I guess Andy has a lot of weak ships. Yeah, Andy's got a lot of weak boats in there. Andy lumber camps, towers, monastery for the relic. So funny, dude. So just looking at the activity on the islands, Andy's definitely doing more. Dark is starting to chop trees here. Getting this relic would be very, very nice. But again, it's really annoying to do that. I think it might be worth it for Andy to try a rewall here at a certain point. Like, win a fight and then rewall this. Andy did just lose his treb here. But they are now stuck. And there's no wonder victory here in a 1v1. Andy dodging on the front. Peak Age of Empires. Click, 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 click. Dodging the ballistics. It helps him take the engagement. Dark obviously realizing that now. Dark is hoping to land big demo shots again. And Andy is actually paying attention this time. So Andy has to back away. Respect that. More Navy over here. More Hussars over here. Demos are microing from Dark. And Dark gets in pretty deep there. That's a big demo. That's a big demo. Is this it? Can Dark finally kill this guy? I don't think so. Not yet. I think we're in this for a while longer, guys. There's still islands under Andy's control where he's taking resources. He still has triple castle defense. Food count's not great for either. Okay, Dark did drop a bunch of keeps here, so that will actually help against the Hussars as well. He's actually out of stone now, but he's going to find some more. Just a shame that these keeps aren't completed yet. I think that's his next step, is to get a few more villagers complete these, and then you can take that stone, and then you would not be losing these docks. But that's a big navy from Andy. At what point do you start deleting galleons in the middle if you're Dark? That's a tough call. But technically, it's something should be considered right now. Big fights over here. There will be demos from Dark. Andy's still doing the dancing. The demos will force Andy back. Demos didn't really connect. Andy has a transport ship with villagers. He wants that transport ship to make it. He wants the transport ship to make it. No! The villagers can't swim. No swimming lessons in Age of Empires. They drown. Just like the 20 Jean swordsman from Dark earlier. So, that's a big deal. That would have been a keep here. That would have been a castle here, potentially, to control this area. Still, though, I mean, Andy has such a good navy. And demos are still pretty risky. Still, this isn't accomplishing a ton for Dark at this point in time. Andy's still chopping away at trees. Dark's thinking he'll eventually run out. Couple docks here from Dark as he considers maybe pushing these towers. But again, it's so difficult. Andy's population back on top. Andy has more, has 2 relics now, too. And Dark is out of wood here. So these vills are trying to wander to another island. And I think Andy can do this. This is Dark's #1 Civ pick, guys. This is a crazy start to a series. Ugh. I'm not even warmed up yet. I'm stretching. Whew. Just getting access to shipwright, getting cannon galleons instead of LingYuans, having the cheap university techs, all these bonuses have flowed so nicely together here. Having the Genoese crossbowmen against any Hussar raids. Here we go. Andy seems comfortable here. Seems really comfortable right now. And Dark is not. Dark is in trouble. Dark could lose this fight. He is going for more Hussar raids, but the Hussar, he will not be able to kill off Andy there. But Andy can actually take down all the barracks. Andy can actually take down all the islands soon. The demos are in there for Dark, but that is not enough. Dark is slipping away here. And he calls the GG. That is a crazy victory for Andy, dude. That is a crazy victory. The entire freaking game, he had just been defense, 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 holding on. And he took all these islands. He took this island back. He held on masterfully. And then he slowly picking away at his opponent's weaknesses with the counter raids and with, I mean, with whatever he could find pretty much the whole game. So good. And I hope that that doesn't affect Dark's mindset. But listen, it should. It should. Because that's his #1 Civ pick. He had control the whole game. Unfortunately, guys, on other maps, you can be aggressive and you can find reward enough to finish the game. But on this map, it is very easy. Or let's just put it this way. It's very difficult to fully kill off the opponent. And so that's what Andy recognized. And he played as patient as possible. Ended up collecting more wood, more food. Didn't collect as much gold. Dark even had the better KD this game. But at this point, Dark is kind of dead. Because he will lose all of his barracks. He will lose his island. He can't mass the same amount of navy. He can't break these castles. And it still feels like... Actually, it still feels like a really early GG to me. Maybe like, Dark still got some res to spend. But I do think he loses from here. So I do think it's the right call. He's gonna lose out on the islands. And Andy will take that gold, and Andy will take that wood, and Andy will control all of this. So there's no way Dark can pressure this because there's towers everywhere. Wow. Well, let's see if Dark can turn it around. Wow, so Dark came in with some strats. He went woo for game number 1, lost, of course. Needs a win in game 2, and he goes for the Jerchins now. So Dark's been in the kitchen. He's been in the lab, and he's clearly got a strategy here. I mean, maybe you can play standard with the Jerchins. I do have some bonuses that are nice for a fast castle. Their late game is pretty solid, but Burgundians are kind of seen as the no-brainer top 3 arena pick. Now, they've added chickens to arena, and these players continue to show you that they're not going to build a mill for these chickens. We've got chicken funnels from both of them. Again, on other maps, you probably need to use your scout to scout the map, but on arena, you don't really have to. So, they're using the scout to bump these chickens, and they're funneling the chickens in underneath the TC. You can't push the chickens, but you can bump them, and you can funnel them as it stands. So, this looks so freaking ridiculous, dude. If I had to guess, I'd say Dark goes all in here, and I think he's going to go Fire Lancers and Siege. I think that is the best way to play an all-in play on arena with the Jerchins, the more I think about it. You need a lot on gold. But Fire Lancers are a pretty solid unit if you get them right out of the barracks without any upgrades. Fire Lancers are good against cavalry, which the Burgundians are probably going to add. So I think his plan right now... Wait a second. Now he's going... He's going to go Tower Rush. Okay. All right. Well, Dark's going to go Tower Rush Archers, I think. Which I don't know. I'm not sure... I mean, Jerchins in general on Arena, in a best of 7 to get you to a LAN event, I'm just not in love with. But I guess what's especially weird about it is that he's now going for it. Like, maybe he wants to just get rid of it for now, but you don't want to go 2 down right away. Ideally, you want that momentum swing. And Dark's not on stone yet. Yeah, but he will be. He will be. You don't need the stone right away. You can still make that first tower. And Andy is maybe thinking what I was thinking. And trying to get this last chicken. This chicken refuses to budge. Just getting stuck up against the house there. And so I guess that chicken will actually survive. And here comes Dark. There's the archer range. And there's the tower. This is a build that Dark has done many, many, many times. This is also a build that I think Andy has probably faced up against quite a bit. And now is when Dark should send some villagers to stone if he's going to be building future towers. Blacksmith is on the way up. Mill will be on the way up. Nice thing is he still has all this leftover chicken. None of this decays with the Jerchins. So your eco's really good on the backside of this. And there's Dark attacking the wall now, hoping to break through. I think Andy should know it's archers. Because of how late the villagers were there. But I'll tell you what you do against this, guys. You get loom, and then you run out and you place a piece of stone wall. The tower projectiles are going to miss a lot. So most of the high-level, like, arena-only players, they'll actually just place one piece of stone wall, delay this, make it to Castle Age, and then they just kill everything. So I don't like Tower Rush on Arena against experienced players against it. Unless you're Teutons. Like, if you're Teutons, you might be able to get in so fast. But yeah, look at Andy. He's like, okay, not a problem. I got loom. And then the tower's not going to hit all my vills. And then you just pull back the weak vills when they get hit. And now there's another piece of stone wall there. Yeah, just textbook. Like, it's actually just not a problem. Not a problem if you know what you're up against. And Andy's build is super smooth. Andy will expect that this could potentially become a problem because he saw some archers, but he will wall behind now. And probably plan towards like having some siege to push the tower down. And Dark's got to really consider... Well, the problem for Dark is he doesn't really have anything else he can do now. except invest less into this attack. So he can just send some villagers onto the chickens. But guys, I think that game number 1 is going to be an everlasting thing I mentioned here. Because that's a backbreaker win right there from Andy to start a series. Just crazy. Okay, he's through now. He's through. He's got the archers here. Archers do have fletching. Andy will have to respect this. But it is aggression against defense here today in this best of 7. Dark the aggressor. Andy the what do you call someone who's defensive? The defensor? I guess defender. Duh. Sorry, that's pretty obvious. Defensor, though, sounds pretty cool. But yeah, defender is kind of obvious. Don't laugh at me, okay? Don't laugh at me. It, for whatever reason, made some sense for a slight moment. Wow, okay. So town center from Andy. I guess it's not a surprise because it's Andy. But it is a surprise because normally you go Mangonel against this. But he's going to go Knights. I don't think that Dark is expecting that. Dark is expecting siege defense. I don't know if Knights do anything, though. I don't like Knights. I mean, they'll obviously have the potential to do a little bit. But now Dark can see the stables up. And then his tower can shoot the Knight. And I don't think Dark even loses a single Vill here. Yeah, see, that's why I don't like Knights. Because you need upgrades for Knights. And now you're on 2 TCs producing Vills. You don't have the food for the upgrades. So this is actually really good for Dark. Because Andy isn't getting rid of these towers. If you don't get rid of these towers, it'll be a problem. Yeah, maybe what it was he made the Knights because he didn't have the blacksmith to unlock the siege workshop, and he felt like he needed a little bit of something. So the blacksmith wasn't coming up for the Knights, maybe coming up to unlock the siege. There's the siege now. He does have a really nice Vill count. He is Burgundians. He is ahead in res collected, and the siege is on the way anyways. Dark is basically hoping to still have his Vills here and still have the potential for an all-in Castle Age push when he's in Castle Age. And Dark's eco is going to be sick in Castle Age. But he just has to make it there. Like, all of his farms have Horse Scholar. The tower position's really nice as well, but Andy can just repair his Mangonel. Andy is being annoying there with the Knights. And he's keeping them alive. Andy does such a good job at keeping his units alive. Okay, chat, what is rule number 1 against a tower rush on Arena when you're going with siege defense? Hopefully you've learned, because I've talked about this a lot the last couple months. Rule number 1, bring 2. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You don't go with 1, because it'll be freaking annoying, and then you could lose your Mangonel against a tower or filled with Vills or archers with fletching. But the second you get to 2, that tower goes down so fast, it's not even freaking close. They have no chance now. They can't out-repair 2 when they're in feudal age. There's no way. And Andy knows this. Andy knows the rules. And look how fast that tower goes down. Again, with 1, there's a chance they can repair it. But, I mean, Andy isn't even planning on adding a second because he's so comfortable with the 2. He's never even mined gold, by the way. He's just sold stuff at the market. The scout will come in here from Dark. Dark also does have a stable, so Dark might add more scouts to try and get in here, but his tower will go down. Andy has lost 0 units this game. And now the villagers for Dark are going to need to get away from here, and now is where this has become a big problem, because this is... You didn't disrupt Andy's boom, because Andy's already 2 TCs, 3 TCs. You're not really holding a lot of map control with the towers because your towers are getting taken out. It's just kind of perfect play from Andy. Andy gets a nice attack ground hit there. That scout won't do enough. There's a knight already. He also saved his market. Andy just so cool in defense. And now he'll re-wall this so more units can't come through. Hold up, though. This gets messy. Okay, he loses a Mangonel. All right. So Dark can still hold control. Dark now with the second town center, also monastery. So Dark will try and play for the relics now. And Dark will boom. And he has to hope that the late game for the Jurchens can compete. What would I make with Jurchens here in this matchup? I think I'd go Cav Archers. Cav Archers, Skirms, Bombard Cannons, Hussars. Is how I would play this, I think. Light Cav's actually owning right now. There's a villager kill. There's also a monk there. Andy has to be very careful. It saves the monk inside the TC. But the tower's still up. That's nice. Monk hops out. Monk hops in. Light Cav running around. Light Cav dies. 3 TCs for Dark. Burgundians can kind of do... They don't have to question it too much. I know this isn't a matchup we've all seen as much because Jurchens are new. But you don't really have to question it at all. Because your paladins are still great, your hussars are great, your gunpowder's great, your bombard cannons are great. You can still do the same combination of things you would normally do. Obviously, being informed on what the opponent's making is quite nice, though. So, obviously, you're going to want to scout at a certain point. But there's plenty of time for that. We said... Okay, so, Chad, I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. So, Knockin' Life, or Nakan Life, I'm not sure how to say your name. First off, they subscribed for the first time today. Sick. Appreciate that. Thank you. They also donated with 500 bits 40 minutes ago. And said, I'm weird much? Question mark. And, I mean... I don't know why they said that. Maybe they're wondering if they're weird. So chat, let them know. They also just donated $10 and said, I'm weird much? Question mark. So, just a little weird. Yeah, just a little weird, I guess. Thank you. I think we all have to be considered somewhat weird because we're watching a 25-year-old game on a Sunday. But, you know, it's a healthy dose of weird. The stable will go down for Dark, but he did get enough light cap to be somewhat satisfied out of this stable beforehand. He will add another stable at home. And now Andy will drop a castle. Andy, 12 villager lead. Trolling around with these knights here. But Dark might be able to get the relics. Dark already has one relic. Dark is looking to grab the second here. And that's what the Tower Rush gives you, is it turtles your opponent up and it gives you lots of map control. But with how Andy has played it, Andy's got a pretty significant eco lead. Great job from him. Really impressive defense. He just makes it look easy, man. Like, when I watch Andy play, if there's a way to hold, he will hold. And I just know that. The issue for Andy is getting out of this turtle into that next step, which he obviously had big issues with in the previous game, but he eventually found a way. Now I have the 4th TC. Andy also can be really creative with his openings too these days, which is really underrated. What he did against Winchester in the 5th game yesterday was a fast castle into chariot archers with Shu into everything else. So it's not just defense first. Or maybe in the past it was always defense first. And he needs to delete that knight. Nope, he doesn't delete the knight. But he kills the monk. That's what he wanted. Dark sneaking away with this relic, which Andy might have never seen, right? He hasn't had a lot of time to scout because he got pressured. So that might be relic number 3 for Dark. He already has 2. And Dark is going for big armies right now. Big light cav numbers and lancers, actually. Just to still hold that map control. And he is also on 4 TCs. I cannot stress it enough. This would be... If Dark wins this game, game 1 is forgotten. It's not an issue. You need to, like, get that out of your brain somehow. But you lose this game, game 1 is still lingering in your mind. And it's painful. I don't know if I like Lancers here. Like, Jurchen Lancers do attack faster and everything, but the unit that is up against him is just way stronger, right? 115 HP with a charge attack? I guess if you have monks and lancers, maybe it's fine. But Lancer just gets completely shredded by the Acoustilier. There's a reason one's unlocked out of a castle. Dark dropping back to get 4 relics. And Andy's on the way to the Imperial Age. And Andy will probably try and finish this quickly because he knows he does not have any of those relics right now. Oh, he's diving. Okay, if Dark gets 2 conversions here... Yeah, that's actually really nice. He got 2 conversions. His monk didn't die immediately, so he had some extra healing time. And the Lancers... I guess they don't stay in the engagement because the monks are there. But, oh man, the Lancers should, though. And actually, if you see the castle there, you delete your walls and try and deny it here. And yeah, Andy realizes that that could happen. Smart from Andy to recognize that he needed to play it safer, because that could have been really bad. Against Lancers, you can't wall them out in the same way. All right, Dark. Dark's still not on the way to Imp because he made this many Lancers. He's hoping to engage. The quick walls from Andy, so sick, though. So sick. Converts a Lancer, keeps his monk alive, and now he's feeling confidence to run forward. Is it overconfidence, though? Is it overconfidence? There's more Lancers again. Dark will see the castle, but okay, yeah, it's a safer castle. I mean, Dark had to choose between Lancers and Imp. And he's chosen Lancers because without the Lancers, the castle would be on his face. But with the Lancers, he needs to deny the castle now. And here he comes. The castle's at 95%. He will not deny it. And that's a problem for him. Still a villager lead for Andy. Andy will lose a lot of his army, though. The Lancers are no joke. The Dark will click up to the Imperial Age behind this. Relics are right here. Right behind this. But I guess full Lancer is what Dark is committed to right now. And Andy says, I know a counter to that, bro. Monks. He's so good with monks, man. Like, everyone else would be going Halb. But he's like, no, I will just continue to make Coustilier, and I will just convert half your units. Monks will hope for conversions there. They think they get one of them. Guys, just look at the stat difference, though. A Lancer's 80 HP and 9 base attack. And then the Coustilier is 115 HP. Same base attack, I guess. But the first attack is plus 21. So, it just... Dark's units are just significantly worse. His eco's worse. He won't really have the relics. Andy's actually going to take down the monastery now. And now Andy actually just runs in. Now, choke points should benefit the Lancers because of that range. So I don't think this was necessarily a great idea for Andy to run through here. This happened last time as well, where he runs in. But Dark just says, screw it, I'm behind. I might as well hope the stacking of my Lancers is enough for me. And he'll run out now and continue to take these fights. He's also hoping to get the relics. He also just let more units into his base. Oh, man. He also will lose the monk. He's also losing the stables. And the Lancers are just so weak. Lancers are so weak against Coustilier. Dark will snipe a couple monks. Dark is committed now. There's no potential. When you're this far behind to Imp and under this much pressure, there's no potential to switch. You can't even consider it. Where are you even going to build the buildings, by the way? You just can't. You have to keep spamming what you have. And with that being the case, amazing spot for Andy. He will go Halb now. Coustilier have done enough. It's Elite Step Lancer for Dark. This does lead to a big stat increase. Like, you go up in HP. You go up in base attack. I don't think there's an armor change when you get Elite Step Lancer. But this gives him this last chance here to get Andy off his face. And he's taking so many resources right now. Oh, man. Sorry, I just misclicked. Taking stone. Camping this stone. And here are the Lancers. And, again, will it work? I don't know. But the chances are much better. It's 11 attack now. Whereas before it was, like, 9. And the monks are behind there. And maybe there's a chance here for Dark. The monks are going to get sniped. Andy needs more. He needs more army here. And the Treb is also there as well. Now, once you start to win a fight, maybe you can consider a tech switch. But I think Dark is just so hard committed to this. He's got so much on food. I think his full Lancer with Blast Furnace is key. Remember, these mounted units fire. They attack faster with the Jurchens. So it might be one of the strongest Lancers in the game right now. Is it working? Is it working? Dark can get the relics. Dark is killing everything he fights right now. And Dark is the score lead. Dark is going to take the Trebs. Oh, man, dude. This would be so sick if Dark could hold. I'd love to see him escape right now. Get down to these other golds. If he can know it's there. He needs siege, unfortunately. Like, he's cleared this up, but he needs siege. He doesn't have a castle. He will come down here for this gold. But, yeah, if he had siege right now on the castles, Andy has to panic, but Andy has time. And Andy deletes his castle at like 70%. Okay. Oh, God, and this castle's getting denied by the Lancers. What is happening? What is happening? Full Lancer is working like everyone expected. And Andy is panicking right now. He is going Halb. The Halbs will die to the Lancers, though. They also kill the Lancers. That's the difference. But you need the numbers, and it's hard to group up right now if you're Andy. He's producing from his base. He's producing from the front. He's going to place a more defensive castle in this area. He thought that castle was too exposed. All right, Dark. Dark needs a castle so bad. He will come take this stone. He will drop archery ranges, so he will consider a tech switch into something like skirms. Props to Dark's food eco, by the way. 65 on food behind this. He's just running around sniping everything with Lancers. It still has 3 relics. And there's even Blast Furnace. Oh, God. Andy with another TC. Doesn't the house just get destroyed? Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. And his houses have created so many choke points that it actually benefits the Lancers, right? TC gets denied. Halbs are still getting shredded. Oh, my God. And there's units into his base. No way. Wow. So to start the series, which is such a big one for both of them, both players might be feeling like they threw a game they should have won. Game 1, Dark will be feeling that. But if Dark can win this here, all his nerves disappear. And he can accept game number 1. Like we said, he's going to add Cav Archers now. He's getting upgrades for that. Guys, that was Halbs leaving this barracks, opening that gate. And then Dark saw it and ran in. What in the world? And also, the Lancers are absolutely insane. Look how fast they kill the Halbs. It's not like Andy's missing that many upgrades. Also, Dark is just literally everywhere with them. Like, Dark has been in a million different positions with them. And this went from being inevitable for one player to win to inevitable that he will lose. 50 Lancers for Dark. And Andy's got no eco anymore. The Treb will just get sniped. Andy does have Bodcan. Andy does have Bracer. Or, sorry, not Bracer. But he has man, I can't speak. Ballistics. So, the castles are doing some damage there. So, those are the right things. But you need an army, bro. And his eco is just destroyed now. Easy to say throw, but smiles in chat if you've got killed by all-in Lancers before. It's a really snowball-y unit. Really hard unit to balance. Because, like, it's just, its ability to attack in tight spaces is unparalleled. And they're really quick as well. They can break through walls faster than other units. They can kill counters maybe better than some other units, so. I mean, that castle just got nuked. These are also Jurchen Lancers. So, mounted units attack 20% faster. That would apply. And he's just taking down castles right now. What in God's name is this? Well, okay. You remember when Andy had buildings here, guys? That was a fun time. Why make a Treb? This is so important for Dark. And Andy calls the GG. Woo! Wee, man. What a start to this series. So, Game 1, Andy holds on. Game 2, Dark holds on. And we have ourselves a 1-1 start to the series. Damn. Well played from Dark. I did not think that was working. But again, guys, so I'm not trying to make fun of my Twitch chat. I'm not trying to critique a normal thing to think about when your player is behind. But sometimes when you're behind, tech switching is not the answer because it takes a lot of resources and a lot more buildings you don't already have. Sometimes you just have to yeet all your resources into the best unit you have and hope for the best. And that's exactly what he did. And it worked. And it worked against counter units. It worked against monks. It works against halbs. I think the issue for Andy was he went like for all these castles and he wasn't actually prepped to spam the halbs. He only ended up getting 64 of them. So there was just a transition issue there. He added a lot of monks. And I think monks would have been... Monks were nice, but you need monks and halbs. And so, like, the barracks were here. There was a barracks back here. He probably just needed more defensive buildings here. And a bit more patience there. But it's hard to have patience when Dark is being so active with the army all the time. And Dark was incredibly active and was looking for raids, so... Also, I think Andy got a little too crazy with the castles, right? Like, he had more on stone than he had on food at one point. With the chaos of the forward castles. And yeah, those Lancers were insane. 2-1 KD there for Dark. Damn. Okay. This is a fun one. We've got Dravidians for FreakinAndy, and we've got Sicilians for Dark. Now, the Dravidians, they're definitely one of the best water civilizations. Especially with the hybrid builds. Is Dark about to... Dark's about to try and lame this boar. Dark is transporting over. He will wall in his Vil. And he is trying to lame this boar. Also could win the scout fight. But yeah, let's see. If the AoE gods are with Dark right now, this would be a great start. Scout fight. Andy wins. Well, that's a 50-50. But Andy now is probably looking at this. Maybe he's not looking at this, but his boar is being attacked right now, and he is going to have a slightly scuffed build order because that boar cannot be brought in underneath the TC. Has anyone else seen this? I have not seen this on this map. And so Dark will shoot the boar. We'll be happy with that. He still has to do everything else that he needs to do for his own build. And the Dravidians have the much better start because the Dravidians get the population space from the house. Extra carrying capacity from the fish. But yeah, that boar is dead right now. And Dark is just going to collect however much food he can from the boar, hop in the transport, come back over, and you can use that transport because you're close. Now, does anyone remember the game Vinchester had against Margugu with Sicilians? Man, was that satisfying. Basically, he made a donjon. He made sergeants. The sergeants were transported. They made more donjons. They made more sergeants. Those sergeants made more donjons. And then he would go... He ended up with donjons here, with donjons here. Like, he went to every single area to expand. Obviously, in combination with that, you also make navy. So, it's just to make it messy, basically. But Andy played very well when he was behind against Dogao on this map yesterday. Where he probably should have died, but he just held on, and that's the theme with Andy. He just survives. And now Andy's on the way to feudal. He says, I don't need this boar. In fact, I wasn't even hungry for boar. I prefer sheep. Thank you very much, Dark. What's this from Andy? Is he gonna expect the sergeants on his main island and build a second lumber camp on this sneaky island? I call it the sneaky island. It's probably a better word for that. But I think that's his plan. That's actually a really nice plan. Because you know sergeants are coming if your opponent picks Sicilians. And here comes Dark right now with 2 villagers. Oh, nope, don't go there. Wrong island. Wrong island. Wrong island. That would have been funny. Okay, he goes here. And he places the lumber camp. It's sad he couldn't scout it. But you really need the lumber camp as fast as possible for your build. So that's not the best. It'd be safer back here, but he just needs the villas on wood and not here. Now you can build the sergeants, build the donjon in the Dark Age. Doesn't fire any arrows until Feudal Age, so Dark is building this ahead of time. And he's in the darkness. He lost his scout. So he does know some things about FreakinAndy's base, but he doesn't know if FreakinAndy's taking this wood line, for example. So he pre-walls that. And he is circular walling his little island here in case Andy does anything on water and on land. And Andy's not. But better safe than sorry. Andy going double dock now and adding fires. And Andy does know where Dark's fish are. So that's where those fires should go. Dark is going to need these sergeants to have a real benefit here. It's kind of wild to me that Andy is scouting Dark's island right now. I think if he sees stone being mined, he should expect this. Okay, now he sees this. And now he needs to respect it. But he didn't even have a loom here. He still doesn't have a loom. There's a sergeant here. And the first hit doesn't come in before loom. But yeah, this could get very, very messy. Dark. No longer in the darkness. Andy possibly freaking out. Who knows? Archer range now from him. See, this is all safe until the sergeants make a donjon. And the sergeants can do that. So the second the stone is there, the villagers and the sergeants can build a donjon that denies that wood line. And then those villagers are not so protected. It's funny, but I think there's actually an argument to just make it more aggressive. Like right next to the range. But maybe not. Because then if Andy runs like this, Andy's just going to, run into you. There's also an archer range. And Andy's going to transport. And Andy's just going to leave. All right. This is kind of key right now. Also, it's key is the water pressure from Andy. Andy actually added a third dock. And Andy will kill the fish. Andy is just basically ignoring this and abandoning his island. Like, look, how many villas does he have here? He's got like 11, and they're around the TC. But everything else, he's moving to the outside. This is where the transport becomes really critical for Dark. Where is Dark's transport right now? There it is. Dark's eco is untouched on land, of course, but not having any fish here hurts, especially when you can take oysters on this map. Okay, this could tell Dark. Like, Dark's still not seeing any villas over here. This could tell Dark he needs to transport. But losing the transport would be horrible. Actually, Andy bringing this transport right now tells him and reminds him, hey, he's using that transport. He's saving things. Andy's 6-1 KD right now. A really nice start. But Andy has to look for that transport ship, which is up here right now, hiding. I don't know if Dark was expecting this. I really just don't think Dark was expecting to have not killed any vills yet. He is going to try and come back on water to not allow that free fish boom for Andy. Look at this, guys. He will block that fire. He's locked in right now. He's so good, man. He's so good. That's so nice. Probably should pull back and repair that, but that's kind of hard to focus on with everything else. Look at his resources. He does still have some berries, some shorefish, some gold here. Has the 6 fish working. Dark's fishing ships are not working. And I think Dark is just expecting more damage. The strat is essentially chaos. And then you use that chaos on land to win water. He is trying that still. With Fire Galley production. But has it been enough chaos? I would argue no. Things can get really messy on this map, though. And there's another dock now from Dark on the front. So, yeah, Dark is going full water. And Dark also bringing his villager over here. Dark is also producing an archer to put into the donjon. Or next to the donjon to shoot the fire. Because he's losing that. Dark repairing now. Andy we're trying to repair. And a lot more dinging coming. If you guys are listening, and that's just because there's ship production nonstop. For whatever reason, there's only one sound for a ship in this game, and that's a bell. Ding for a dock. Ding for a ship. Voice lines for the units. Wow, yeah, that is actually being taken out by the fires. That is actually... That's not something Dark ever thought would happen here. That is really good for Andy. And Andy's still holding on. on water. And he has more ships. He's got 8 fires. And he knows. He knows this is a shift back on the water from Dark. It's very clear. He's just swatting all this pressure away like it's nothing. Just extremely relaxed. Repairs now for Dark to keep this up. He's just hoping these range units will take down the fires, which they will eventually. Dark repairing. Holding on here. Still producing fires from behind this. He actually queued up a fishing ship, which is really odd. The dungeon will stay up, but the fire takes down an archer. Things are messy for Dark. And I just can't help but feel like Andy's preparation the second he saw Sicilians to transport to the outside is just so clutch here. Actually should become meta against the landings, I think. Not even just Sicilians. Like, what's stopping you from building a second lumber camp out here? Nothing. It's so close. I guess it's not always close, though. Like, this island's pretty far away from Dark. So maybe you can't factor that into every single game. Dark is going to see the situation with Castlage, and his jaw is going to drop. Though maybe not, because he really hasn't done a lot of damage. So maybe he's worried about it right now. But he's not even close to clicking up. He's making more sergeants now. He's making more fires, but yeah. FreakinAndy is up. And FreakinAndy, if I know him, will drop a TC on the outside. Very nice TC spots out here and just continue to fight on water and defend with what little he can on land. He doesn't actually have a ton of army here, but he does have some skirms, does have some archers in the TC that can hop out. He's just been patient there, waiting. Transport still in the very north from Dark. Hasn't really used that much after the initial transport ship. Maybe that was an opportunity for him. He'll get some kills. He brings in the sergeants now. Doesn't actually have the stone for a dungeon. Andy's dropping house walls and a tower. Andy's doing everything he can to just avoid having to make army to deal with this right now. And actually dropping a TC in the south. Wow, and that's a juicy TC. I like it. Also like the War Galley upgrade, and I think he will still continue to dominate on water. Range units hop out of the TC there. Dark is also using some of the Navy and the villagers to just get rid of these sergeants. Or sorry, Andy is. And he'll get rid of it. And it's GG. So Andy, shaky in game 2. Should he have won that game? Maybe. I don't know. But there he had the lead, and then he let it fall apart on him. Here he had the lead, and he never really lost it. We've seen the Sicilian strategy work before, but normally the towers are denying resources that players are actually actively needing to take. And for Andy, he just literally left the woodline. He left the woodline and said, it's not a big deal. I got a woodline out here. I still can just focus on taking your fish. I know you're going to try and switch back on the water. I know this is a setup, so I'm just not going to allow the land to have any type of value for you. Again, he's got how many vills out here? He's got 13 here. And he's got 8 here. So, yeah, half of his eco basically just left. And then he still had the eco on water as well. So Dark tried to turn this into a hybrid map. And he said, not today. Just super smooth eco. Didn't actually have as much wood and food collected, but he didn't spend food on the upgrades, and he didn't spend food on the military on land, right? But he saved a lot of that. Probably bought some food at the market as well. So Andy responds. 2-1. GG. Okay, we got some pretty powerhouse arena-style civilizations here. We have Bengalis for Dark. Bengalis have great monks. And this is a map with walls, so we could see that. They actually have a pause now. And then we have the Spanish for Andy. Of course, the Conquistador's insane, but also their monks are insane as well. Now, there's lots of shorefish around this ring. We've seen lots of players docking here. We've also seen players docking the middle, because you can drop the fish off. And hold on, this is a bugged map. No, there's not. There are shorefish, sorry. I just couldn't see them jumping, so I missed them. I don't know why it's paused then. Just looking for bugs. Resources look fine. I don't think there's a bug here. Oh, northwestern wall has a gap for dark. Yeah. That's true. That could be considered an admin re, because he has to build his own wall. But it kind of sucks because openings have already started. You don't really want players to have the opportunity to see. Most players will just close out the game. They're not going to look at the other's opening, but that opportunity is still there. Dark says, isn't it bugged? No deer. Andy says there was deer. It's neutral, so it's fine, I guess. Okay, well, they didn't realize this wall is open. So hopefully that doesn't play a role. Andy pushed in the deer. So that's kind of funny. Andy says there was deer. Like, yeah, I stole them. So he quickly tried to push in what he could there. And Dark was expecting there to be the deer. So that's why he paused. And Dark will drop the dock now. Now, what Dark did against Doubt was he docked the middle. He took the deer. He took the fish. He took the berries. And what Andy did in previous games on this map is he docked the outside and took the middle later. So they're both kind of doing the same thing here. Yeah, Dark does not notice there's a hole there. I really don't think that's going to play a role. The hole will not play a role, okay? If it does, though, that's absolutely horrible. Like, even if the scout gets in and steals sheep, like, that's really unfair. So, again, just don't think it happens. But it's this weird mix, right? Like, the water's there, so there's a hybrid aspect. You have to respect the galleys. You have to respect the fires. And we have seen players actually do that. But land is also really important, too. Especially because of the stones and golds being forward. But they both have enough gold on the back to use if they need to. So they can lose that. Andy's added the fish. And so far, Dark is, again, doing the same thing he did against Doubt. He didn't add any of the Dark Age fish. But I think he does add a dock now, and I do think he plans about some fire ships, maybe, or some galleys. Yeah, it depends on the tournament. Here, they're probably sitting in a voice channel, muted. And if there's a bug, the admin could come in and say something. Like, that's what we do a lot for playoffs. I don't know how they have it structured. It's also possible the admins haven't noticed this hole. That's a tough one, though, because that's literally just 2 wood away from Dark just walling it himself. So you don't really want to restart super late. I'm not just going to message the players and step in and make decisions, because I'm not in charge for this event. I think that would be an overreach. So Andy drops a mill on the outside. Really good eco. Seems like he's expecting towers here. Either he's expecting towers, or he's expecting to want towers. Actually, the more I look at this, the more Andy might be considering a fast castle into Conquistadors. He's got a lot of ills on Hunt, a lot of ills on Fish. Okay, there is a tower now coming from Dark, though. And Dark will actually deny this gold, and Andy deletes a partially built mining camp. He does have the gold back here, but he wasn't planning on taking that. T92 questions. Is Andy beating Vinch an upset? Yeah, absolutely. It is. Vinch is playing amazing. So that was an upset. And would Doubt have been the favorite against Andy? I think in a lot of people's minds, yes. I would have said no. Just based on the level that we've seen, I would have said Andy 4-2 for Andy 4-3. But I think a lot of people would disagree with that. I wouldn't hate you disagreeing with me on that. But Andy's playing very sharp, very solid, very consistent. I think Doubt has some inconsistency issues, which was maybe even present in his series against Dark. So Scout is so important here to know what's happening, and the Scout goes down. Like, Dark needs to know, is he on stone? Where's he taking gold? Well, guess what? Andy's going to make it to Castle Age. He's not actually even mining the gold. He's just going to sell off some of that stone. And there he goes, on the way to the next stage. And if he can get more vills on stone now, he can plan around a castle that can easily, and I mean easily, take down this tower. And what has Dark accomplished? He added the fish late, So he basically rushed a feudal age so he was able to get that tower up. But he's not really able to delay that castle, which is so dangerous against the Spanish. How does Andy have 400 more res collected? Well, because he had more workers early. Because he added the fish in Dark Age instead of in feudal. That will start to swing back, though, because Dark get 2 additional vills from making it to feudal age with the Bengalis. Which is a reason why you might want to go Bengalis here. And rush to feudal age. And now Dark knows there's probably eventually going to be a castle, and he's doing the right thing. He's going to stonewall here. So stonewalling this here. The problem is, Andy can place a castle that not only defends his gold and takes down the tower, but also a castle that ranges the wall. So that wall might not hold forever. The other problem that I think exists eventually for Dark is that Conquistadors can actually kill ships as well. Their damage is so high that these fire galleys and galleys might get taken out. Galleys, though, are pretty solid if you get like 5 or 6 of them, I guess, against conks. But Andy committed everything he has towards this. There's no other aspect of his plan except for getting to Castle Age. And Dark has transitioned his eco to a lot of different resources, lots of different food sources. He's bringing a fire galley from this side. There's a fire galley from this side. And Andy drops a TC? He just can't help himself to get some economy. I would love to see the castle first. The castle first would be so much better here. But, I mean, you can do both. He is falling behind in eco compared to the Bengalis. So this gives him a way to keep this level. I mean, I just think this is an Andy thing, right? This is an Andy thing. Everyone else rushes the castle and then their eco is crap. And Andy's like, I cannot accept a crap eco. No, thank you. And now he goes for the castle. It's not that much later. And Dark needs to click up. Dark is probably terrified of what's to come right now. And Dark also headed to stone. And Dark is on the way to Castle Age. But that's not enough stone to recuperate the losses on the stone. With the tower and the walls. It's not enough to get him his own castle. So he will maybe have to plan around playing Navy and Monks this game. But yeah, that castle will go up. And it's just a super easy castle to place. It gives you your gold. It will shoot down the tower. It will then shoot at the gate. And Dark now has to layer a second foundation of wall, essentially. Knowing those units are going to break through, I like this idea. Stonewalling from this dock to the edge. House walling from here to the water. And then your galleys can actually be a way of holding the middle. He's even adding another dock. Wow, yeah. So he's going to make it tough for these conks to move out. And by the way, this is why you go for the eco earlier in Andy's position. Because if you would have gone for the army, Dark probably would have stopped you from doing damage. Damage on the outside, I guess, is still a very big possibility, though. Wow, Dark does have a lot more on stone now, so Dark might want his own castle. And Andy may bring the conks over to attack the fires. Doesn't seem like he's too bothered by these right now. I think he doesn't want to show Dark where the conks are going. Because if he attacks here, it becomes obvious in Dark's mind he maybe needs to stonewall the outside of his base. But I think Dark should come to this conclusion. Because no one makes a castle with Spanish and makes 0 conquistadors. He sees 1 now. But Andy doesn't know about the walls either, I guess. Why not just make pikemen? Pikemen get shredded by conquistadors. Conquistadors are a ranged unit. They're faster than pikes. They will shred. The best thing Bengalis can do is monks, because their monks are really heavily armored. There's a TC now from Dark. The conquistadors are on the way. And these conks are first going to check this shoreline, look for some fish or vills there. And Andy is just missing the fact there's a TC. Okay, well, now he sees it. But now can Dark stabilize from this and just back away for a second? I think he probably can. He's getting hit in 2 different areas. So he might see the fishing ship getting hit and not this. He might also be looking in the middle. Dark's not noticing this. happened in game number 1 as well, where a multi-attack really had him confused. Yeah, now he realizes it. He's making the monks now. Still has the berries in the middle. Still got the extra vills with the Bengalis. We'll drop a second monastery. And it's 2 TCs now for Andy. Andy was able to take out the fires. I think we looked away at the wrong time there. I think he converted 1. Or maybe forced to delete. And now Andy's going to come onto water as well now. The middle is key long term. A castle from Dark here and then a fast Imperial Age might be the plan. But it's really hard with the current food economies for either player to really get to Imp. With 3 town centers, you're pretty far away from a fast Imp. There's no fish boom to back this up or anything. The Galley monks are armored. So once Sanctity's in, Conquistadors don't even kill them that easily when you have 3, but if any unit's going to do it, it's a conch. And there's going to be 7 on the field for Andy here. Oh, Dark sees them. Dark's ready. Andy wants a kill. And the conchs just miss. The conchs just straight up missed. I think the monk probably would have survived anyways. And wow, Dark gets a conversion and kills a unit. That was so good for him. So nice to be able to get conversions against unique units. They had to make a castle for that and spend a lot of resources to get there. And then just... you're neutralizing it with a monk. I think Dark is building this castle because he doesn't want the forward castle to alert Andy to the fact that it's pretty clearly going to be a fast imp scenario. Monks are strong if you can control them. Huh? Just passing from both. I thought that monk was going to die. But Andy just looking away for a moment. I don't know where Dark's vills are going right now. Why are his vills going this way? He set a rally point from his TC forward, and he's losing villagers right now. It definitely is a TC rally point thing. I've seen all these vills go forward. Or maybe he told idols to go somewhere, but this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. He realizes. And hopefully he sees the other vills now. A little sloppy. Andy's eco's looking really nice with farms. Yeah, like, Andy's just never just, like, super far behind where the game is over. He's always competitive in a game. I think that's why I had Andy as my predicted winner here today. I think I said 4-2. Big fan of Dark, good friend with Dark, teammate of Dark. Dark's going to have to be on point every single game to have a chance against Andy. And the Bengali monks, the strongest monks against this, go down once the conchs get to a certain number. And that's with devotion, of course, so he resists the conversions now. And 3 TCs. Dark doesn't really benefit from this castle being up right now, so it's not that weird to have 2 villagers building it, as weird as it may look. Dark is 32 on food. And he's not spending food and gold on conquistadors. So Andy will never reach Imperial Age at the same time. And if trebuchets are popping from any of these castles, the other castles will go down. The stones and golds are all denied. That's a big swing there. So I think Dark should just chill. Try and play towards the imp timing now. I think Andy just researched atonement. Look at these freaking Spanish monks, man. They're so sick. Yeah, he is hoping to get like a monk conversion. How do I say this? A monk conversion line, a monk conversion train going here. If he converts 1 monk from Dark, then that monk he converts can then convert another monk, and then convert another monk, and then convert another monk, and he can basically convert all the monks. But what he's not counting on is for it to be Ratha. He thought it was going to be monks! It was supposed to be monks! The monks are on the other side, and he's going to lose his monks. And, yeah, it turns out the Spanish Inquisition is expected. Those 2 Ratha pay for themselves immediately. The conchs are now over here, though. And Dark didn't expect that. And now Dark is going to come back this way with the monks. And Andy's going to click Imp right now? What? How is Andy Imp after this many conquistadors? That's crazy, bro. That is just crazy. He got devotion. Like, he did so many things that are very anti-Imperial Age. But his eco setup has just been so smooth. That's just so good. Has to be careful now. There's a lot more monks back here, and Dark is pretty good with using them. But now maybe a couple of his own monks. He actually genuinely should get the Inquisition upgrade right now. Converting faster is huge. It also gives missionaries extra range, but we're not going to see any missionaries here. And now Dark is also on the way to him. Close game. Close game. Inquisition. Spanish Inquisition being researched now. Oh, man, I don't think Dark is expecting Atonement here. I think this could get really bad. He doesn't have a unit to kill these monks. Andy is dropping a castle. Like, he saw 2 monks. He doesn't know it's going to be more. Now, it is Andy, but still. He's just worried about conks. Andy is going to bait these monks back towards his own monks. Here he goes. And now Inquisition is in. Inquisition is in. Say goodbye to your monks, Dark. This could be really bad. He knows now, because he sees the dudes with the little hats wallowing at them. But yeah, he can't engage. He'll try now. But now the monks are ready to convert again. And 1. This is what I meant. That's 1. It's going to be 2. It could be 3 now. It's just like this non-stop, never-ending converting monks train. And Andy's going to drop another castle here. Of course, his conks are all still protected, which is incredibly well played. And, oh, man, Dark is just surrounded by castles. This is a masterclass from Andy. My goodness. He is so smooth under this pressure, man. And Andy's making a trebuchet from the forward castle. Interesting. He just makes it look so easy. Like, I just do not understand how he's able to have this many monks, conks, and also be imp, and also have the Vil count. Like, something's normally going to give. The balance that he has is, and the timings is so good. Now the Trebs are here, but now Dark has a decision to make. Now, Andy didn't make Trebs from here, which is a little surprising. So Dark can make Trebs from here, start to push this castle. Dark's obviously going to have problems on the outside. He no longer has the best monks. Andy's monks are stronger. Something doesn't look quite right there, but, you know, they're accepting of him. He's a little bit different than the others, but they're very accepting. As long as their god accepts him, they will accept him. You know those monks are like, he doesn't even have a hat, right? Like, they all secretly don't like this guy, but they need to get to heaven still, so they can't, like, they can't be too hateful, you know? Again, Andy doesn't have to necessarily win the game with his push. He's getting conscription. It's just such a good position to make it tough for Dark to move around. Dark needs some map control somewhere. And Dark's going to go Wrath and Monks this way now. Dark will build a castle this direction. I mean, if he could pressure Andy in some way, it could change the game. I think Andy's only mistake this game is not immediately making Trebs from this castle. But he's bringing army back over. I think his conquistadors are somewhere around here. I'd love to see some cannon galleons from FreakinAndy. Spanish cannon galleons are no joke. And Dark's Ratha looping into the base here. Andy sees the monks, though, because he has outposts all over the map. And there's no way Dark can keep up with that because Dark is so busy. And Andy swoops in from the darkness. And he will kill the monks. That was so good. And that's outposts for you guys right there. That's outposts. He has those outposts. He can see everything. He knows. Dark separated from his units one time to go do damage. Meanwhile, he's getting his Vils converted. He's getting his buildings trebbed. And he's still actually trying to hold this castle. Andy's conks are attacking the Ratha here. They will win the fight, but it's kind of a costly engagement. And Andy is finding himself in a position where maybe he is most comfortable, and his only army is monks. Soon. There's all these monks standing on Dark's farms, and he's just focused in on Ratha. But monk only can go wrong very quickly. You do still need army. He still needs conquistadors. He loses this castle on the front. Dark is still holding on. Dark will try and take out the Treb, but Andy converted a Vil and is now repairing the Treb with that Vil. So the Treb's staying up. And now the Ratha have been converted. Oh, man. And now there's an army for Andy to kill the Vils from Dark. Dark is just losing so many Vils, man. And he takes down the castle as well. Andy takes down the castle. That's so good. Because Dark's only army is Ratha right now. And Dark's still going to try a push. I mean, let's give him props. He's still going to try something crazy here. He's still going to drop a castle. Andy should really tech switch into something with the monks while he has the time. Trebuchet staying up because more villagers were converted, and then the other villagers were killed. And if Andy can get that tech switch, this is probably still his game, but you never know. The conks back here are slaughtering. There's another Treb on the TC. Another TC goes down too. Even just not having town centers when you've lost this many villagers is horrible. But Andy will have to leave the middle of his base. He actually should be thinking about Supremacy. Supremacy villagers could be a game changer here. Also, Andy lost one of these castles. He might lose another castle. Oh, Andy, that's too greedy. Don't try and convert Trebs underneath the castle. Well, it was worth a shot, guys. It was worth a shot. Those monks go down. He converts the Ratha, though. Inquisition is genuinely a busted tech. That's not my typical caster exaggeration. It's actually OP. This is against someone who's devoted. And Andy's taking advantage of it. This is a classic Andy game where he just booms behind all this pressure and then can eventually tech switch to kill you. He is going for Elite Skirm very late, though. And he's lost a lot of his monks. He doesn't have the front of his base. And he's going to lose his castle. So he actually has no castles. So we've seen the strength of monk only. But now we're seeing the weakness. So wait a second. Dark has 0 town centers and 3 castles. And Andy has 2 town centers and 0 castles. What? Dark, no TCs. Andy, 2 TCs, no castle. What in the world? That's a lot of Ratha here. But there's also a lot of converted Ratha. There's Elite Skirm now. There's also Conquistadors now. There's still the occasional monk. Dark knows he needs to take some fights ASAP. Dark also needs to pressure here. He's got the Treb going for that TC, which is good play. Dark is holding on. Dark is dropping TCs. Dark is taking a decent fight. Mass Elite Skirm, though, can eventually kill the Ratha. And it feels like we're getting to that point. Andy's got a lot of ranges here. He just needed to get the production going. I don't think Andy was going to let this one slip. Skirms are eventually just going to be so good in combination with the monks. Andy has economy. He has 60 more villagers. So that might not stay the same. I think he just told all of his idols to go build this archery range. And, well, he had idols in the back of his base. So that shows how messy this game is right now. But he's got great vision on the left side, so he can never be surprised. Yeah, he's also selecting all archery ranges now and sending skirmishers into the castle. But look at how many skirms he has now. And now Dark needs to make a tech switch to Cav against the skirms. I don't think he has the eco for that. Andy still has Conquistadors too, if light Cavs becomes an issue. Okay, Andy's about to be down to 1 TC. But this would be a 3-1 lead for Andy. All the pressure off of him. Well, maybe even more pressure is added, but... It feels to me like he has done enough to get an eco lead to win this one now. 4 relics as well, by the way. His Ratha aren't elite. There's no... I don't think it's realistic for Dark to ever get to elite. And now here comes Andy. 4 trebuchets just from the right corner. I think he looped them around from home. He's on the way to go for the kill. He is getting raided right now. And he isn't exactly reacting to this. So he definitely has to win the game now. Dark is also making his own monks and going for conversions. Converting some skirms, converting some conks. His monastery goes down. Andy needs to be careful. Andy needs to be really, really, really careful here. He's losing a lot of economy. And Dark is going to dive for the trebs to hold. I mean, if Dark can just hold, maybe he can kill like 30 vills and stabilize here. You don't need to push it all back. You just need to take the trebs. Okay. I don't know. All the Ratha die. There's still a treb there. Oh, Andy, you're stressing me out, bro. You're stressing me out. You're stressing me out. Any defense whatsoever. Look at your base for once. Any defense. Okay, now he notices. Now he's running. Now he's attacking the treb with vills. This is insanely messy. It's just full adaptation now. We got like random ram here on the TC. Dark's fighting it back with vills. Andy will lose these villagers. That treb is actually saved. Andy's villager count is not going to be great. But Dark's is already so bad. Andy does have a TC over here producing vills. He is adding economy. And still has a big ball of skirms. And Dark needs Lightcav with full armor. He's getting full armor. Lightcav with full armor is his best chance to engage against this. So he's giving himself a chance, but how good is his eco actually? And if Andy notices this, Andy can send units over here. If he has the buildings though, Andy's gonna drop some stables over here now. Yeah, he spots that. All of that. That is Dark's food eco. It's desperation food eco. But hold up. Hold up. The Lightcav are fully armored now. The Ratha will go in and snipe the treb. Lightcav should honestly kill the monks. And they will kill a lot of those monks because the Lightcav are so tanky now. Dark keeps his castles up. Still so much army from Andy. And Andy has better economy for even more Lightcav. And can just send the Lightcav here. He's going to lose another TC. Supremacy! Supremacy is coming! The vills will be on steroids soon. All right. Someone drug test these villagers quick. Right before supremacy completes. Get the drug test in. Come on, let's go. Step up for the drug test now. Good. He's clean. Now they can fight. They're good to fight. They're totally clean fighters. Here we go. 80 HP, 3+6 attack. All is normal here. And these villagers, again, they're drug-free. Okay, no steroids at play. They take down the trebuchet. Totally normal behavior. And I think Dark is going to have to call it now. What a grind of a game. This got so messy, man. So messy. But Andy is more Lightcav than Dark does. And Andy he just played amazing. Like, his economy balance, the amount of conquistadors he made, getting Inquisition, making the monks, the forward castles. I know it got very crazy and he lost some vills or whatever. But he played well enough where he'd have such a massive lead that some craziness later on was acceptable. Andy now up 3-1. Dark is going to have to win 3 straight. And I think Dark played a really good game, by the way. I think Dark played a really, really, really good game. But Andy's adaptations, Andy's eco, just super, super smooth here. So, well played. He is incredible with the monks. Actually, Andy converted so many Ratha that Ratha is listed in the top 3 of his units produced in Capture Age. Imagine getting so many conversions that when it goes to late game imp and you go Lightcav transition, you still haven't produced more Lightcav than the unit you converted earlier. That's crazy. But that's the thing, though. Like, everyone's like, oh, Andy's just monks. It's not just the monks, though. He's got perfect economy. Dude, if I have to control monks like that without an economy, I'm still worse than that. And again, that's forgetting the eco. Like, he had map control, he had vision, he had aggression. It was so good. It's just impressive. So anyone said, why did he make monks on Arena? Oh, he threw making monks. Yeah, don't ever say Andy throws making monks, because he's clearly very good with them. He got 50 conversions that game. Dark even got 25. But it was the economy and the map control that was just so good. I love how he plays. It's so unique as well. And now 1 win away from making it to a LAN event in China. And Dark is trying to come back. And Dark is trying to come back here. We are immediately into this. And Dark wanted the lame. And the Rhino... What? The Rhino's still chasing? Wait, what? That was super weird. I mean, there was a big distance between the Rhino and the Scout. It looked to me like Andy thought that he had blocked that. Now, if you check Gaia Vision, the Lion was there. And it's kind of interesting, guys, but certain tournaments, certain maps have actually changed Gaia Vision. Because if the Lion has this much vision, it will actually assist in the lane. And so, yeah, Gaia still saw it. That's why the Rhino stopped, because that Lion's crazy vision. Relics also do give vision, but it's not as much. And that is what Dark needed. I almost want to rewatch that, though. It looked like the Rhino actually stopped. It looked like the Rhino straight up stopped and was going to turn around there. So Andy is the Catans, but this is Chicken Arabia, guys. And the thing about chickens is if you get lamed, you can't push them to adapt. So getting lamed here is potentially just game over. Whereas if you could push deer to recover, you maybe is something you could still manage. Of course, Dark is going to have 3 rhinos. He also will go for a barracks now to try and pressure those chickens with some militia. I mean, I just don't know exactly how Andy manages to get to feudal age here and do anything of substance. Let's see. This is going to be very difficult. You can't funnel very easily at all because there's no walls like Arena. You have to get the feudal age so much faster than Arena. Okay, so he's collected a chicken. He's idling a little bit. He's gone extra to berries. He's adapted to click up. Okay, but let's see if he can make his buildings. Let's see if he can get the timing right. Again, I've talked about Andy's adaptations today. He's been really good with his adaptations. Curious now, will he have the ability to recover from this one? Dark is on the way forward with the 2 militia now. Now, Dark's logic was basically like, I'm already ahead. Let's just stay ahead. So a little bit of militia pressure, but there's certain players I wouldn't suggest drushing against, and Andy's one of them. Andy likes to fight back with bills. Andy's building the barracks now. Does have loom. The militia could disrupt that. The scout's coming over. And yep, militia are here. There's also a hill at play. But Andy will pull a couple vills. And Dark will want that villager kill. Oh, this would be so good for him if he can block this. It's really close to the TC. Dark is like, I can click faster than you. And Dark says... Gets the villager! That's so good. He delays the barracks. He kills the vill. That's super worth it. Even gets the scout away for now, but I think the scout will die. Dream start for Dark. All assuming he can balance out his eco nicely to do something in feudal age here. He's taking those chickens long distance. He's got double lumber camp wood set up. And he must have picked Vietnamese for these reasons, right? I think he's gone way too heavy on wood for Vietnamese. You don't need wood for eco upgrades. So unless he's going immediate double range, which is pretty extreme, I think he could have a slightly better situation right now, but he's definitely going archer range because he's gone the gold. Andy is looking right now to see what he's going to go for. And Andy's scout gets walled in. Oh, Dark is locked. Dark is locked. He says, fear me most when I'm under pressure. Damn. Walls and Andy's scout. So now Andy doesn't even have that. All right, Dark, let's go. Archer range from Andy. Andy doesn't actually see what military building is being built here from Dark. But I think he can assume it's going to be Archer follow-up just because it's behind a drush. And he's still 400 res collected behind, but he got his eco upgrades. He's making his buildings. He's in this game. That was really, really nice job from him to get to feudal age. Dark is going to go stable, and Dark is going to go archer range. Dark Scout is actually alive, too. So that Scout could maybe be put on Auto Scout. One Archer from Dark can just camp here. But he's actually not going to make Archers. He moved the villagers off of gold to wood and food. And he's just going to make those Scouts now. Andy will play Skirm Defense. Skirm Defense is the smart opening when you don't know what your opponent's doing. But moving out with Skirms is obviously a problem if the opponent is going Scouts. And he's expecting Archers now. And so he just wants to punish. He doesn't actually see any military buildings. He might just assume that Dark is just playing greedy with no army. But yeah, Dark Scout. It's kind of on its own, though. Like, it's not really going to do much. Actually helps Dark, though. If Andy moves all the way forward here, just not being aware of what's being made. Also, he can see the archer range soon and just assume it's skirms as well, so he'll be happy moving forward. All the scouts can kill the 3 skirms, and that's really good for Dark. Yeah, Dark should see that. Dark should kill that. Andy just walked by it, and Andy accused a spear. Yeah, I guess Dark didn't notice that, or what? Seems like he's trying to group up all of his scouts together. This scout is basically an auto scout. And Andy has a chance to run home and save those skirms, and he has the spear here as well. Look at Andy's food eco. Pastures are still insane. Let's not forget that. I know they nerfed the civ, but I don't think they nerfed the pastures too much, right? I think there was maybe some minor changes. Andy going for full walls. Dark going for full army. Dark needs 3 straight wins. Dark with some beautiful scout micro here. And snipes the villager. Made that look very easy. The scouts were getting hits immediately. But the skirms from Andy have fallen back home. The spear for Andy's on the left side. But actually, Andy, you've got 2 spears on the left side now. And now the scouts can come in and get another villager kill. This could be 3 villager kills for Dark. It should be. Dark. He gets it. Impressive. And he can attack that house foundation. He can break through that house in a second. If he breaks through the house, he has a 4th scout in. And Andy just still hasn't taken gold yet. And now, oh man, Andy's falling apart against this pressure. The follow-up attack has done enough for Dark. And Dark is looking confident right now. Knows that other villager is weak. Is trying his best to get in there to kill her. Andy's done a nice job to save her, but she's dead now. And the skirms are getting hit. And Andy's just focusing on walling half the time. And Dark says, I am not done yet. And now, Dark should have a significantly better eco. And he could have a similar castle age time. Because Andy was just so late to gold here. Look, there's archers even coming in to hit the gold. Dark is all over him right now. Look, Dark's micro is insane on Arabia-style maps. Just haven't been that many of those games so far, right? We had like the crazy water map. We had the closed map. We had the arena game, which I guess he did win. Trying to think of all the maps we've seen. Basically, every game that has had some type of water on it, Andy has won. And then the game that has only land, Dark has won. Now, Dark is winning this game. And I'm thinking about the other maps. I think all the other maps are straight land that are upcoming. I could be wrong. Archer's kind of poking away, but there's skirms there now. Scout's still running around and being a pain. And Dark will cook up the castle age faster. Which is really nice. Seems like his plan is still to go crossbowman and really pressure this golds. Could be tough, though. The Catan spears and skirms mass faster, so Andy could still just play skirms from here. The scouts aren't that much of a threat anymore. So I think it's just elite skirm and boom for Andy. That's the plan anyways. He doesn't even have the gold for fletching, though. What a horrible game for Andy. Like, and I don't mean that in, like, not a horrible game by Andy, but just horrible things have happened to him because of his opponent playing like an aggressive beast. And Dark can boom as well. Dark can boom. Vietnamese have fantastic eco. We haven't talked too much about that, but yeah, Dark can be on 3 town centers himself here if he wants to. So Andy has made 1 land in his career. Dark has made 0. The next decider we'll be casting later is Tato Sebastian, which is going to be an absolute banger. Tato has made, I don't know, freaking 10 plus lands in his career. Sebastian has maybe made 1 or 2. So we have 3 out of 4 players today who are trying to break into a land, which would be massive for their careers. Not saying that it wouldn't be massive for Tato still, but I mean, for Tato, it's been a little bit more normal for him to make it. And crossbow on the way now for Dark, who is in Castle Age faster. Andy's probably like, you're kidding me. T90, have you made a land yet? Yes, I'm so good that I've been invited to pretty much every land over the last 10 years. That's how much talent I have. It's a weird thing, though. They invite me for my talent as a player, and then I just end up casting. So it's... They switch my role when I'm there. I do all this preparation and training to compete, and then they're like, yep, sorry, we need somebody. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? Okay. Oh, God, all the skirms are going down. This is not what you want with your skirmishers. But I don't think he ever thought he could upgrade them. So he just tried to get kills before the upgrades got better for Dark. And that TC will complete, but now there's a Siege Workshop from Dark, and Dark can just pressure that gold. There's still no easy way for Andy to take gold. By the way, gold's here, and then gold's here. So all these golds are locked down. Yeah. Realistically, 0 gold income right now for Andy. He'll have to use the market. Second TC now from Dark. This is where if Dark keeps it simple and just attacks the TC, he's got this game. But it's very easy for him to try and do too much here. Right now, he's trying to disrupt the wood line, which is not bad at all. But just needs to keep the main focus on the golds. Andy will need this rocket cart to get a lot of damage on the crossbows and on the siege that's coming now. But yeah, I won't be at this LAN event. They don't have a setup for English casters in China, so I will be hopefully casting it from home depending on the start time. The start time is gonna be something. They haven't announced anything yet, but Yo said potentially 5 GMT starts. So 5 a.m. European time, basically. Midnight for me. So yeah, very much like China normal time. So that could be kind of tricky. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't get much better. Like, if they start later in the day, that just means it's, like, deeper into the night for me, like 1 or 2 a.m., so. Still no gold for Andy. Has the Vil lead because he's a beast. He's just relying on a few rocket carts to hold. And if the rocket carts hold, he can take the gold. He can come back. Dark 3 town centers now, so it could be kind of awkward for him to micro on the front. Dark has Andy exactly where he wants him. But Andy, oh man, surprises him there. You see how easy it is for this to all fall apart, this forward push? Like, Andy lurks out of the darkness there. So many people lose that mangonel. The Dark's still playing patient. Eco upgrades look very good now. The fact that he's adding so many farms is really impressive. Still hasn't lost a mangonel. Obviously, this TC will get nuked pretty soon. This is 5 or 6 mangonels, so you keep this number high, and you're in a great spot to melt that TC. Andy's rocket car only fired 1 projectile there. So that was kind of a dud. That's frustrating for him, because it actually was at a spot where I thought he could have got a kill. And still, patience from Dark. Patience from Dark. I'd love to see outposts over here. Shouldn't allow Andy to sneak and get a gold. Andy with some shots. Dark with some shots. 1 for 1. Obviously, Dark will take that. Andy's still no gold. I don't know. Maybe he moves out here and drops a castle, though. Yes, stone. Could be selling food for gold for now. He's been selling food and stone. But now that TC will go down. He's going to castle there. Well, I mean, if he castles there, it keeps his vills alive. It doesn't necessarily solve his gold problems that easily. His TC is definitely going down. The micro from Dark is insane. The micro from Andy, not good enough. And Dark goes 2-0 with the Mangonel rocket car trades. And can just repair all these now as well. Dark is playing so good. Still, Andy has the Vill lead, which is just unbelievable. Just cannot kill this guy easily. But he still can't take gold. But yeah, like, I swear, if Andy's villagers even so much as touch this gold, I will be annoyed. Because there should be an outpost there, and it will not happen. I was gonna say, Andy needs gold, and Andy just says, you know what, I cannot do anything here. If he left his base at all, crossbows would have been pouncing on him, and Dark stays alive. Very aggressive with the lane. I do want to go back and show that, though, because that is really unfortunate for Andy. So, basically, you're going on Gaia Vision, right? And so that Rhino will continue to chase the Scout as long as Gaia sees it, because the Rhino is part of Gaia. And so, because that Lion is there, with all that extra vision, Andy does the blocking, and then Dark's like, oh, I failed with the lame. Wait, what? The Rhino's still chasing. That's purely because of the Lion. It's actually topic for a video, maybe. Because technically, like, relics give vision. But I think they changed relic vision to be very small. Someone says it's relics. It's not relics. It's that Lion. Because the relics has... It could have also been a bird flying or something. But on some map scripts, people will change the line of sight on birds and relics these days for tournaments. So I don't know. Like, I don't check it enough. But I'm a little surprised that the Lion has that much vision there. I think it should potentially be less. Anyways, Andy's going to think that. Scores 3-2. Doesn't matter now, but... all right, game 2. I got to step away for a second here. Or why did I say game 2? This is clearly not game 2. Just checking Gaia Vision based on our conversation we had before. I guess there's no wolves on this map. But we have Dark trying to stay alive. He's gone for the Romans here on Acropolis. And we have another generation where the players are super, super, super close together. And let's see how quickly it takes them to figure this one out. We might see both players docking in Dark Age here. It's much easier for the Georgians to do. But unfortunately, guys, there's literally 0 breaks between these games. And I have the difficult balance of trying to hydrate so I don't feel like a sack of crap after 8-hour day. But also needing to take a bathroom break. So I'll be right back. No action should happen here. We'll have a big feud late. Dark needs to win 2 straight. What if I never came back? Like, what if it just... If I stepped away and I didn't come back for like 3 hours? Like, at what point in that countdown would you guys become very concerned? I think after 10 minutes, you guys would start to freak out. You said plus 7K if I never come back? That's funny. It looks like we might have missed a little bit of shenanigans here with the Scout attacking the villager. I say we missed it. I missed it. Andy's got the dock up. Andy's up the feud age later, but does have the additional food. And Dark just doesn't like the Dark Age docks on these types of maps. He really likes to get the Scouts and the Spears out fast, which I think is fine for the Romans. I think that Andy needs to play heavy feud age here, and that's just not something that he's really that accustomed to doing. He likes to defend in feud age and get to castle age, so I'm curious to see how he plays this. They're really close together, so things could get messy very quickly. And Archer range from Dark, so Dark actually opens range instead of a stable, which is the expected opening. But I don't hate it, because he will probably go Scouts later. This is a very fast Archer spear into Scouts as the plan, but you need your eco to be perfect. Andy hitting Feudal Age with tons of food. Doesn't actually have the wood, though, to build a stable right away or an archer range, but I think he'll probably just play defensive skirms now. Look northeast of the pond with Gaia Vision. The bears have big vision like the lions. Yeah, you're right. It's confusing, though, guys. Like, I think I have to speak to T West about it. I know. I feel that Andy was kind of ran into an unfair situation in that previous game. I think that should have been a block. And that Rhino should have been his. He did all the right things, and something went wrong. But even on generations where, like, other tournament maps, where I think the Gaia Vision was changed, it still might show the bears see this much, so I don't really have a ton of answers for you. But Andy definitely did the right things there, and some weird Age of Empires stuff that made it go wrong, and the starting scout and the archers here, and Andy... Wow, that was a nice little dance there. Andy's defense is just so impressive, man. Super Sun says that's just how the game is. No, it can be more balanced. That there's a lot of things that we do with tournament scripts to make it balanced. And yeah, I would argue that how that behavior we just saw before is not a balanced behavior, but we're moving on. I think towering the woodline on Acropolis is a standard feeling, but doing so against a mule cart civilization might not necessarily be the best play. And in the end, Dark might not end up building this tower. He's using those archers nicely so far. He hasn't lost a unit yet. He's trying to take out the spears, but the problem is he doesn't have any backup scouts. It's just that scout. And Andy knows that. There will be more scouts later on. And Andy gets a couple kills there. A tower foundation just deleted there by Dark. This is where he wants a stable. He has it, but his food eco is not great. He also doesn't have loom right now. Actually didn't have loom this entire time. He needs farms like crazy. Farms. Both scouts go down. Loom kind of important, because without that, your villagers are dying to skirmishers. But Dark will have another scout here. What's Andy's eco looking like? Doesn't have any farms. He's also going for scouts. Dark does still have enough stone to consider a tower here. I wouldn't hate it. Obviously, the forward tower doesn't really offer anything now, but a defensive tower just makes sense. And now Andy knows that it will be scouts as well from Dark. Dark is coming to try and dock this. Andy will make a fire. I want you to remember that fire ship, though, because you're not defending that much fish here. I guess there's still lots of food, but he's not on gold, so he can't make more fires like Dark can. And he also can't get fletching or bloodlines, any of these upgrades that require gold very easily, unless he switches to gold soon. And Dark is on gold, and Dark can get blacksmith upgrades, and Dark can make more than one fire, so... I mean, this is a scrappy, open type of game right now. But 0 villagers have gone down so far. Archer Micro has to be on point here for Dark. And he goes for it. He'll take the spears. His scouts are in higher numbers. He also has his own spears here. Andy did switch to gold, by the way, but Andy's losing a lot of skirmishers now. Luckily, he's close to his own base to fall back, but that's a lot of army follow-up from Dark. The spearmen got some hits. This is exactly what Dark wanted. When he opened archers, it was all for Archer Scout. He believes Archer Scout is superior to Skirm Scout. And a lot of other players would agree. I think especially in close quarters, you just have the potential to snowball this so quickly, take it to Game 7. Micro for Dark just seems to be one tiny step higher than Andy's in Feudal Age engagements. And Andy loves to make this much army and then stop, and then he loves to go Castle Age. That's his thing, but I think he has to fight in Feudal. He has to resist that urge. He has to go for numbers here, because otherwise Dark is just going to overrun him. And Dark, under so much pressure right now, guys. Under so much pressure. He was down 3-1. That first game, he was so far ahead. Could have won that one. This could be 3-2 for him right now, but Dark is playing super sharp right now with the fights. Eco transitions are still pretty good for Andy. Andy is making more scouts. Andy very resourceful taking the golds here, but Andy will lose his fish in the middle now. And now Dark is advancing to the hill. Can Dark get more upgrades on these scouts right now? Still no fletching on the archers. He's engaging against the Vills. That's a very Andy engagement. Andy says, I'll fight back with my Vills, and look at that! Look at that! That's worth it. I think he lost 1 or 2 Vills. That's worth it now to clear up the fight, maybe. Dark's archers are now exposed. Dark will take the spearman on the way out, though. That's not horrible. Andy has lost 6 eco this game. But now he has the bigger army, and now Dark's dropping a market, and now Dark has to defend, and now Dark could lose a lot more Vills. And now Andy's got the chance to do some real damage here. Yeah, just getting excited, right? You see Vills, you're expecting the Vills to just run, but fighting back with villagers is a skill in this game. And Andy managed that very nicely. Second stable for Dark. I think he's just going to continue with the scout production. And he actually sold his stone, which is wild. Spearman gets some really nice hits there. Selling stone to buy food, so he got real desperate here. And really concerned. Bloodlines is now on the way for Andy. But Dark hasn't even towered this wood line then. Does still have some wood up here. So both players mainly making scouts. But there will be the occasional spear. There are still the skirms. Dark's not really fishing here right now. And Dark's just waiting. I think Andy's showing a lot of patience. And Dark's showing a lot of patience. Andy could try and dive. But he knows that Dark has to react to this. And that Dark will. And now Dark's just going to back away to this wood line. Yeah, Andy sees the scouts there. He knows. He also sees the second stable. So 2 stable commitment is pretty obvious now. T90 Andy lost fishing ships. Yep, I'm aware. Yeah, he lost his fishing ships. Not super efficient, though. Like, he still benefited from the early stages. But, yep, lost the fish. That's why the Eco KD is what it is. And Bloodlines is on the way for Dark. Andy scouts are in the wrong position. Andy scouts are in the wrong position. Oh, man. If Dark kept Bloodlines, he definitely engages that. But he doesn't want to take an engagement before that. Surprised we're not seeing forging here. Fletching as well. Fletching for the range units. Forging, fletching, lots of blacksmith upgrades could be helpful here. Guess in Dark's case, he doesn't really seem to be floating the food for it. Here he goes. I don't know about this. There's more units for Andy. But there are more scouts for Dark. There are also some spears in there. It might just be a 50-50 fight. It might be a full clear for one player. Yeah, I guess just the range units cannot escape. And so Dark holds. Still hasn't lost any eco this game. It feels like he has momentum right now, but he also has low HP on his units compared to Andy, and Andy's still producing more. Andy just won stable, though. It's crazy. Dark will snipe the archer. Dark is getting forging now, and Dark's just gonna send it. Andy, you gotta send it too, man. Full upgrades on scouts. This is how this game will end, is scouts, and more scouts. Look at the amount of farms, man. Dark's still waiting. Andy now feeling like he has a chance. Dark with a quick wall. Andy respecting this army knows that if he starts to attack Vills, that Dark will attack him. Forging is in and armor is in. Oh, man. But Dark only has 4 more scouts, and so many of his scouts are weak right now. Andy's scouts are very healthy in comparison. But Andy doesn't have armor. Andy does have spears, though. How many hits are the spears going to get? The one guy doesn't seem interested in fighting. He's a coward. I think the spears made a difference here. The spears have absolutely made a difference here. The archers have made a difference here. Dark is up against it now. He has to win this game. He has to win this fight. Maybe it's intentional from Andy as well to just wait with those spears. Oh, man. This is falling apart here for Dark. So good from Andy. The Georgian scouts, the patience now as well. Can he do it? It feels like he's doing it, guys. There's just not enough army here from Dark. There's so many villagers around. There's spearmen. from Andy every single time. And Andy also has the archers there. And the archers can snipe any spears. And could be the end. This is the farming eco. FreakinAndy. Who said he can't win on the Arabia-style maps? Nice recovery here. I think it seriously has just been one stable production. It can't be. I must be missing a second stable somewhere. Okay, there is a second stable. But still, he's managed this so nicely. And now, I mean, no, the KD is even. But now Andy can feast. And this is Dark realizing that this could be GG now. Andy about to book his ticket to the LAN. This would be his second LAN in his career. I thought that experience for Andy would be the difference today, but also the survival, the ability to survive. This would be quite a run for him. Even if he doesn't win many games at the LAN, which I think he's got the chances to. I think the map pool's really good for him. I think this would be a crazy run. They're taking down Dogal, taking down Vinchester, now taking down Dark, who took down Doubt. Be something to be really happy with. Can Dark come back from this? I mean, maybe. The army count's actually ahead for him now. Andy's eco's actually pretty inefficient back here. Look at all the vills. Hold on a second. Like, he's got to be certain here he's won this before he starts to get too crazy. Yeah, look at all the vills moving around on the not on mule carts, not on wood. I think he ran out of his wood line during some of those fights. Is Dark still in this? Dark has armor right now. Andy does not. Andy's scouts are very weak. I mean, especially if the Roman player gets armor on their spears. Okay, that's a closer fight than you would have expected after all the eco damage, but that's still acceptable for Andy. But Dark took the score lead, which is like, what? Oh, so many villagers. But he's actually only 6 behind. I guess he's adding fish, and he also has had less idle time. And he also got wheelbarrow, but kind of felt inevitable that Dark was going to lose this game, but Dark's still holding on right now. Dark just needs to mix in his own spears. That's what he was missing. Now, he can't do it as easily if Andy has the archers. But I think snagging the armor upgrade with Romans in a messy game with lots of pressure could be okay. It will send spears back home. He'll fight that back with some army. And now he's ready on the hill. Dark's still holding on. Dark's got so many farms. Crazy amounts of food eco. If he could afford a third stable right now, this could work. Andy's building a third stable. But he's building it like right in the front, which you don't necessarily need. But then again, why not? Just seems like a sign that this has gotten very messy in general. Andy taking another fight. Is this the fight? Has he recovered with the numbers now? I think it is. Yeah. Eventually, that extra eco is going to pay off. The Archer Scout mix, this is what Dark wanted. And yeah, the farms get hit here. I just wonder if Dark could have had a tower way earlier. Remember when he sold his stone? It was super early into Feudal Age. Obviously, there was a sense of urgency for him then. But a tower here along the front would have helped so many times. And he's still producing archers, still producing spears. Dark is now pulling the villagers to fight, showing how desperate he is. Dark's farmers are back to work, but more villagers are going down to the archers. His scouts are dead, and this is it. And he's done it. And he's done it. There's no recovering from this if you're Dark. And guys, game number 1. It was Dark's number 1 Civ pick. He was aggressive the whole game, and Andy's like hold there. His defense there was insane. And sometimes that's all it is in a series, by the way. Dark might, if we somehow fluke to game 7, I don't know, if Andy accidentally deletes all of his army, Dark might be the favorite there, right? So it's just that one game, game 1. That's the one I'm thinking back to. Because obviously the level's extremely high from both. I just don't see how Dark has any chance at this point. I mean, he's villagers are running around. He doesn't have the same army as Andy. Andy's constantly producing. The idle time's insanely high for him. Of course, Andy probably realized his eco needed to improve when he fixed the vills with the mule carts. He's done that now. And this is just Dark not wanting to accept it. This would have been his first LAN event. He's come so close. But still so far. Still 2 wins away. An absolute slaughter right now. Painful to see Dark play through this. But we've seen it all before. This is just how it goes. He really wanted to be there. He really wanted to move on. And it's just not going to happen. GG will be called. Dark will finally tap out. And he gives Andy the congratulations, which he deserves, guys. We had some crazy micro from Andy this game, but look how many archers and spears he created in comparison. So it turned into full scouts, but it was full scouts from Andy, but also the archers and the spears. Great recognition. I was a little concerned that he was going to try and go Castle Age and drop those churches and drop TCs and play that boomy style. But you can't look at this performance here and all the other games today and tell me that Andy is not a complete player. You just can't. He's insane on water maps. He's insane on land maps. He's insane on walled maps. He's insane like everywhere. He can truly do it all. And that's why he was able to beat Dogal. That's why he was able to beat Vinch. And why he was able to beat Dark here. He qualifies for a LAN event in China. So well played from him. Bummed for Dark, but Andy deserves it. And I thought kind of precisely what happened would happen. 1 or 2 instances where Andy just holds miraculously. And he played so well on Khmer and I think Seychelles, right? It's just impressive. So congratulations to Andy. Andy moves on. He'll be one of the main event players